It's DJ Daniel, you dig? You're tuned in to KOOL Radio, your number one station for the truth about what's happening in the way out wasteland. But enough of my spouting. Let's warm up with some new hot licks.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Saturday here on Pod by Night, where I am joined by our wonderful cast to play some more Fallout. I don't know. I guess I could chill. Y'all know the deal. Join us on Discord. That's free. Join us on Patreon if you want to support us more. Or you can tip here and pay these lovely faces that you see on the screen. Or potentially their cats, because I think we all have them.
We have animals. Please feed them.
Yeah, you're.
I'm uncle to a dog. That's all I got.
Okay, well, dog uncling is important as well. So yeah, help us feed our furry families. Thank you for that. And look, my bot's working today. I don't know what its deal was last week. Yeah.
Bots need breaks too.
Bots need breaks too. Well, he took a fucking break last week. So, speaking of last week, we should probably do like a thing where we maybe talk about what happened last time.
Dude, I don't know what happened yesterday.
Y'all, every
Pull
time
out
I
my
do that,
notes.
y'all look so devastated. Like you totally forgot to do your homework. You're hoping not to get called
This
on.
is true.
Okay, so
I just need a few things to fire on some cylinders. Okay,
Okay.
moving and unpacking is kind of a lot.
I know it is.
Okay.
I know.
I can tell you guys everything I wrote down, which is
Okay,
not comprehensive.
Okay, go for it. Tell us what you wrote down, and
Great.
I'll see if I can fill in the blank spots.
Here's what I wrote down. This ship section is so well designed. The guy with the cure has shut himself in the top deck. The
That's right.
purple fruit, the four-armed guards, the people who are hiding in the closet, the growing vines, the fact that you don't want to kill anyone on the ship if you can help it. There's an alarm that summons bad guys. That's the end of that topic.
Okay,
so
so
that-
you
some
you
stuff
liked
happened.
the design of the USS Germination.
did.
Okay.
But it's a light recap because, yes, we were on the Germination and investigated the nest beneath the ship.
Yeah.
Where we had to do the puzzle of getting the people who were addicted to the fruit and now, therefore, addicted to human flesh out of the way so
Yeah.
we could get to the boiler room. We achieved that. There was some
Because
fire
you were
involved.
you found a cure, and your goal was to put it through the sprinkler system, like the boat's natural water supply system. But like you said, you were trying to save as many people as possible, so you wanted to avoid violence. You did manage to distract most of them by setting everything on fire, but once you had found the cure, which is kind of where we started last episode, things did eventually kind of go awry because Mason's beeping got you, yes, Mason's butt got you into some trouble. But it was actually Sister Delilah that was able to, was small enough to fit into a ventilation shaft, which, come to find out, the twins also used. And with the help of Mason and Big Business distracting the people below deck, cue burning ring of fire, y'all were able to actually dump it and then release the cure all over the ship, which did affect the people. It was kind of horrific, actually. Great pain they went through to kind of get the bacteria out of them. It literally washed the bacteria from the plants. It like salt melted all of the vines below. It was a nasty, nasty experience. But out the other side, everything was in fact quote unquote clean, which is funny because you actually spent the next couple nights on the boat getting things together, helping them patch things up. taking as many notes as you could to go along with you. Before Mortimer spotted something on the horizon.
Yeah.
A,
Yeah, he did.
a
Mortimer.
mirage. A mirage, one might say. Literally, the mirage. And now that you had kind of helped the USS Germination set up communication with the Minutemen to maybe distribute some of this food, especially when 4 plots of it grow back since Mason burned it all to the ground.
I saved people. I also set an entire future for the vineyard with my healthy rolls, mind you. I blew those rolls out of the water. Those were great. Those are the best rolls I've had basically the entire game.
You did. Okay. And Mason, you actually learned that your beeping is actually like a radio beacon. It's like a homing beacon. They're not tracking you,
I'm tracking it.
Tracking it. Yes, exactly. Before, of course, you set out, all of you, on a literal run to catch the Mirage, which miraculously you did. And when you arrived, I don't know what each of you expected, but it was definitely a different sight than the USS Germination. You were elevator lifted up into this massive fortress on wheels, specifically vault door wheels, being pulled by a small herd of Brahmin. And we left off with all of you standing inside of the Mirage, having turned your weapons over because there are rules. Does anybody remember the rules of the Mirage?
Oh, there were 4, right? No weapons.
5.
Spin caps.
Yeah, you got to spend money.
72 hours.
Yeah.
You can't talk about it.
Yeah, and the big don't do it rule.
No cheating.
No
cheating. That's right.
No cheating. You were told that you would be required to volunteer to work off your debts.
Yeah.
Required to volunteer.
Yep. Yes, voluntold. And when you get in, it's quite a sight to see. It's very clear that everything in here has been repurposed from Vault Tech, from a vault. They pulled everything, the walls, the furniture. Even their clothes are restitched and rehemmed vault suits. And you met Maxwell Cantor, who was the man at the bar, the circular bar in the middle. And you managed to get kind of a good span of everything in here. The gambling options, the slots, and, of course, the stage.
Yeah.
Called the Oasis. And on that stage, you witnessed a performance by a woman named Fusion Susan. And
That's right.
Fusion Susan sang a song. For those of you at home, I did read it, but it is actually a new take on an old song. I wouldn't call it a parody. I'd call it a updated rendition, because that is what Fusion Susan does. And we'll actually pick up right there with the sound of her still kind of on stage singing more tunes, if you would, more updated tunes of the past, where she's altered the lyrics just enough to be more relevant to the modern wasteland, but it still is a remembrance song of its time. And I gotta find the Mirage here. So yeah, and I believe you saw Maxwell Cantor use fresh food to make you a drink he called a Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary, yeah. Max was also a former psychologist.
No, Fusion Susan.
He was a scientist.
Fusion was. Okay, he was a scientist. That's right.
Yeah,
right,
he
right,
told
right.
you that they were lucky in that when they founded the Mirage, they were all able to start new lives in kind of this new way. And Fusion Susan, she was a psychologist.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember the most important thing about her song?
Oh, it was Children of Atom.
Yeah, that's right.
Like
it was a
pro.
love song to the last son of Adam. He is the atom to her Eve.
That's right.
And they have like leaflets on the bar and stuff.
And that was the last thing you saw was readable propaganda pamphlets
Yeah.
sitting at the bar of the Mirage. And we'll pick up right there. Music lightly plays in the background. The robot on stage, the one-man band, and Susan stands in her spotlight now, singing a much kind of simpler tune, something to kind of reset the mood as some people begin to get up and start gambling again, pulling slots, getting new drinks. All of you are at the circular bar in the middle of the Mirage. If you remember, it is roughly a circular building. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what floor we're on. We know that there's multiple floors.
You don't. This was something that actually
took an
came up in
elevator.
the after show. You took an elevator up. You know that the building has to be minimum 4 or 5 stories. The room that you're in, it does have high ceilings, so you can assume it takes up 2 floors. It's a double stack. There is no actual staircase, but the ceilings know that this one room takes up 2 floors, but that means that there might be stuff above you or below you, unless you're at the bottom, but you took an elevator, so maybe you're at the top. The question is, how do you get there? Because the only entrance and exit you see is the elevator you came in.
Right. I check for secret doors.
You check for secret doors. Yeah, you know what's funny? If you had a military bot build, you would be able to actually scan the building.
Sure.
How do you go about? You just want to make a basic
Oh, that was
survival
mostly
perception?
jest.
Oh,
That was
okay.
mostly in jest.
Okay, well, you look around. You don't see a door. There is a curtain, which that's probably like sleeping pods, right? Like there is a curtained off area that is clearly for sleeping, because how do you house all these people if you don't have places for them to sleep? But it's not enough room to house the staff. They must live on a different floor.
Do they have? Is there like a computer access that seems to be away from the rest of the slot machines and tables or what have you, or maybe behind the bar, or is there anything like that?
Not on this floor.
Not on this floor. So
Not that you see. How about that?
no, okay. I don't know. I wanna see what my bot eyes tell me. Can I perceptify?
Yeah, you can survival perception as you kind of peep around.
Okay.
Depending on, I'm not even going to set a level for this, just depending on how high you roll, you'll see, will depend on what you see. If you want to base it, okay, so here's the question. Is it just what your iBots see or your iStock see, or do you want to also, or you can roll with, what is it? Charisma. You could do like a speech perception, which is like more of an insight of character, like what kind of conversations are being had, what are people's personalities. It's more like people watching than it is trying to spot for something. So it's up to you. A speech perception, which is kind of weird, or you could do a survival perception.
I think probably survival perception. Yeah. I mean, let's go with the survival perception. I'm basically rolling the same thing. I think the survival is probably even better. Mostly because I'm just curious. I want to kind of get a better layout than tall room. People spending. I mean, it's like Vegas, right?
This is a Vegas casino. It's just like a Vegas casino floor.
All right. So yeah,
The difference is there is no hotel. There's like
perception.
a pod hostel in the back.
And did our action points reset, right?
Yes, so you're at 4.
Got
Go
it.
for it.
Okay. I'll just keep the 1.
Okay. With a single success as you peep around, knowing that you were kind of maybe looking for a terminal and computers and you're kind of figuring out what the tech is like here, again, it seems odd to you that they can power all of this. This requires a lot of power. Now, the building itself is not being pulled. It's being pulled, right? Not powered. But everything in it, all these lights, all the blenders, all the machines, all of the stage and the microphones, all of that has to be powered by something. And this kind of excessive power, you only see in established like settlements usually, or cities. And even they
Sure.
don't run excess power for luxury reasons. But with all this power that they're running, you also note that the gun safe where they're keeping everybody's stuff behind the like grated fence or the gated fence is a key code. It's a number digit lock to get into it.
Okay.
So you note that. You also note that the guy that's kind of by that clearly manages the elevator as well. There's like a lever. And a single monitor that's clearly coming from a cam outside the building showing the below belly. So when they see people, like they saw all of you, knock, they know when and how to drop it. They'll be able to see, is it raiders? Is it super mutants? Whatever. So there's like a single cam under the belly of this building.
Okay, so Mason came from yesteryear, pre-war, right? So is it safe to assume that Mason would have some sort of recollection or knowledge of the fact that back in ye old day there were facilities, casinos that had multiple floors?
Mhm.
Okay.
And I would say, like I said, it's not outside of reason just based on the size of the building to note that this can't be the only floor, regardless of your past history. Like, this absolutely can't be the only floor. Like, there's got to be other stuff. Now, it could be that same elevator goes up and down farther. Like, if y'all are in the middle, you don't know because that one guy is the only person that controls the elevator handle. And currently, it's like, it looks like the old, it looks like an old elevator handle or like Frankenstein light switch. It goes up and down. Like it's like a big wall thing, right? And it goes one direction for up, down, and then it sits in the middle when it's not being used. There is no like sign of whether it's going up or down. There's no little arrows on the wall or anything like that.
Then I think I would putter my way over to Max, right? To Maxwell.
Yeah, he's at the bar, just happy as a clam, doing his job.
Then I'll see to Max. And has he introduced himself as Maxwell or Max? I don't want to misinterpret this. Maxwell.
Maxwell Cantor is what he said his name was.
Excuse me, Maxwell, my good sir. Might you direct this well-oiled gentleman to the esteemed sanctum where the cats flow and like pomade and the stakes are high as well as well-coiffed pompadour? The high roller table, please. Is there an upper balcony?
He laughs. He says, well, as much as I'd like to think we are a VIP location, we don't necessarily have private tables. But if you're looking to make the most caps the quickest, I always suggest going to play some blackjack. And he points at the blackjack table. There is a man there. He's dealing some cards to some folks. They're clearly playing hands. He says, but if you're not feeling as lucky, you could waste your caps on the slots. Trust me, we've had many a person waste away at the slots. And he kind of looks over at the slots, and you can see there's a few people there that are clearly visitors. But there is one gentleman kind of sitting at one of the slots, and he's clearly talking to himself. Everybody's given him a distance, so nobody's set right next to him. They've like left him in the corner alone, and he's kind of like he'll pull the handle, and then it ding 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 ding, doesn't win, and he pulls it again. His back is to you though.
Well, to my surprise, there is no high roller table. Fine. Blackjack still similar rules, first to 21.
Of course. Why would we change the rules when they're perfect the way they are?
Understood. Thank you, Maxwell.
And I'll kind of putter back to the group, just to sort of hear or see what they're doing or what they're saying at this point.
What are the rest
I wasn't
of
being
you up
quiet
to?
for the record.
Yeah, what are the rest of you up to?
I grab one of the leaflets. I want to read it and say if I can tell if it's Muse's words. Just for fun.
It is. It matches the pamphlet that you picked up, or that Sister Delilah picked up early on. It seems that this is part of the larger print run of these that have been distributed all over. You found these in Good Neighbor. You found them in Diamond City. This is kind of Sister Delilah had one on her when she came here. It's the piece of propaganda that brought her here. But
Mortimer
they're in much better
smiles
condition.
Yeah. Mortimer smiles at it, folds it up and pockets it.
Takes another one. When you do, somebody at the bar sees you do that because you didn't necessarily attempt to do it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't hiding it or anything.
Hiding it.
They're meant to be taken.
And you see a bald, kind of irradiated yellow gentleman sitting next to another one. He's missing a single kind of front tooth that puts a black hole in his smile. And And he says, so are you interested in the children of Adam? You know, we're recruiting.
Oh, you're a part of them.
Of course. He says, me and my brother here. And he kind of pats the guy on the shoulder, who looks a lot younger. Definitely they're not, like, actually related, but religious brotherhood, I guess.
It's, interesting words.
He says, well, would you like to talk about it? The best way to finding your faith is just through good conversation. Shared fellowship, if you would.
Maybe another time. I'm interested in, getting my bearings in this place. I just got here.
He says, well, if you decide, drinks are on me, and we'll sit and have a chat. He's like, I have no doubt before your 72 hours is up, you'll want to come with us.
Maybe I will.
He kind of smiles and looks at his friend as if they're in on something that you're not. And they go back to sipping their drink.
I turn around to like head in a different direction, but I immediately like
Bump into Mason.
I make eye contact with everyone. Like, you see that?
Sister Delilah, it's very clear. They're not dressed in armor. In fact, they're not even like wearing tinfoil hats, right? They're not the extremists. They seem normal. They blend very well. They are in their like robes, their simple robes. They are wearing some boots. But like, yeah, these guys just hitched a ride, maybe. But it's very clear they're children of Adam.
Interesting.
Hey, Dot.
Uh-huh.
Would Mason realize if the power was dipping at all? Do the lights or the machines seem to kind of like even faintly dim?
Interesting. Not at the moment. I will let you know if that happens.
Is the Mirage moving?
Yes.
It is moving.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell on the inside, but there is that light, because the wheels, every time they land, they're vault doors, so you kind of get the rock
Yeah.
of you pulling forward, but it's a very slow pace right now.
Okay. Can I inspect a slot machine?
Sure, you want to go over to the slots?
I do.
The
I
only
want
slot machine open is next to the kind of crotchety gentleman who's fixing at the machine and losing poorly.
I have an interest in trying to determine, and courtesy of our most recent level up, I took a new perk called Tag. Tag allowed me to choose a new skill and actually adjust the skill rank by 2 and tag it as if it was a critical skill for myself.
So you got like a real boost. Maybe it was your reboot, your software update.
So I took science, and it's at max rank now. So my science is real good. So I would like to determine if, based on a couple of things, right? So I'm looking for like maybe a flywheel. I'm looking for any kind of dynamo, something that might be used to turn or convert kinetic mechanical energy into electrical energy.
Interesting. Okay. You go over. Go ahead and make a science check. I'm just gonna like just make the science intelligence.
Science.
Okay. As you go over, the truth is these look very standard Vault Tech issued slot machine on the outside. I mean, there's wear and tear. They clearly had to move them out of the vault, or maybe they collected them. A couple of them might have to have new parts rebuilt. And you pull up to next to this old man, because the only slot machine where you can get yourself in and really look is this one.
Yeah.
And the old guy's still kind of like grumbling, and your stalks begin kind of looking and over, and as you pan to one side, you see that this older gentleman, kind of scraggly, unkept beard, not like Duck Dynasty long, but like,
okay,
like it's kind of patchy. It didn't fill well.
Sure.
Beard doesn't
Sure.
suit him very well, but he seems to not care. His hair is gray and long and stringy, and you can see by the wrinkles on his face, he is an older gentleman. But the twitch in his left eye tells you that he's been at the slot machine far too long. The smell of his breath, which you can't actually smell, but your smelling algorithm tells you that he is very much drunk. Yeah. He breathes like, above the legal limit level onto
Sure.
your body. And he says, "Oh, what you looking at?"
Oh, that's great. That's great.
This is my first time sitting at a slot machine. I am aware of how they function. I was just trying to find anything that might enamor me, capture my intrigue. How long have you been here, sir?
Well, since it started moving. And you see under his kind of raggedy clothes, unlike everybody else here, he too wears a pin. The palm tree pin, designating him as staff. He is part of the Mirage. He is not a tourist. But unlike everybody else here, he does not seem to have a job.
Forgive me, I assumed that you were amidst the travelers that boarded this fine vessel. I did not assume that you were amidst the courtesan staff.
I was here when we built it.
Been here for a long time, then?
He kind of thinks it through and nods. Yeah, he's been here a hot minute.
Tell me, could you pass my way some secrets of this location? Something that might assist me at the slots or perhaps even the blackjack table.
Secrets, he says almost too loud. Secrets? You want secrets? He says, I got a secret for you. Whatever you do, kid, don't put any caps in those machines. They're watching us. They're watching us.
Mason just putters in a little closer.
What do you mean?
Well, you got 3 eyes, right?
I have more than normal, yes.
He goes, they got cameras, equipment, reads your pulse when you pull the handle.
What if I don't have a pulse?
He kind of stops. He's not had that thought before. Well, I guess they won't get a readout. But they're watching us.
What are they watching us for?
They're looking for cheaters.
Oh, well, I'm not programmed to cheat, so it's not a problem.
Neither am I. Neither was the guy they took away yesterday.
How do you even cheat at slots anyway?
Oh, no. You can't really cheat at slots unless they rig it to cheat.
Ah, yes, the house always wins. This is something I'm familiar with.
Shh. You got a whisper, kid?
I do.
He says, keep your voice down. They're
That I can
always
do.
watching.
So then why do you sit here at this contraption, this device meant to measure your...
I'm here to throw off their data. And he pulls the handle. Because no matter what they do, they can't get rid of me. Old Man Murray.
Old Man Murray, you say that like a legend, like you're a cryptid of some sort, like Bigfoot or the Mothman.
A what?
Never mind, disregard.
He's very clearly like a little confused.
Why can't they remove Old Man Murray?
Because I'm one of the crew. Can't toss your own overboard. I know all their secrets.
Unless they were to remove the threat, expunge you from existence, Murray.
The threat is not inside the walls of the Mirage. Well,
Then where is it?
out there. He kind of points through. He says, but don't worry. He'll be back. His followers always come back.
Mary, what happens to people who run out of caps?
I've said too much. I'm gonna just... Stupid machine. He kind of bashes it a little bit, puts another cap in and pulls the handle and looks at you like...
Keep at it, Murray. Spend your caps, lad.
He says,
And I putter away.
Hey, wait, hey, kid, before you go. After hours, when, old Fusion Susan's done, everybody will be distracted trying to buy her drinks. Meet me over in the corner. I'll tell you everything you want to know.
Understood.
I silently hope that he has all of his clothes on at that time because this feels very strange.
Yeah, it's definitely, you're like, this guy is off his rocker.
Yeah.
Like really off. There's probably a reason he doesn't have a job. This will be very fun. Cut camera. I want to know what Big Business and Delilah are doing.
Well, since we're here and we are followers of the rules,
You are.
we should probably look into spending some caps.
You did buy some drinks, so you're on a good roll. Susan could use tips. There's a tip jar. Blackjack, table's gonna be open. Mason's decided to go play slots.
I was thinking of playing some games. I don't know about you, Big Business. What's your thoughts on playing some games?
I don't know. Last time I tried to play a game, I didn't understand it, so I broke it.
Well,
But
might not want to do that here.
Well, the slots aren't hard to understand. You just pull the handle and it'll tell you if you win or not.
I might break those too.
Big Business is sort of wringing in his hands his bullet hole and gigapede acid melted hat.
Yep.
And he says,
I have a postcard for this.
and he puts the hat down and he pulls up his briefcase
Okay.
and he
Clicks it open.
opens it up. And he digs through. There's a lot of pre-war money in there, some caps, and then he flips through and he holds up an old pre-war postcard that shows a businessman who's like in mid-stride, who's about to shake hands with a random citizen or stranger or something. Big Business is like,
Right, okay.
and he'll put the postcard back and close the case.
Big Business, is that poker chip, the chip that you have, is that in your briefcase or in your pocket?
I think it's in my pocket.
Okay.
He would actually have it out on the bar in front of him though. And,
Maxwell Cantor comes around to kind of wipe it down and sees it, and his eyes, like you actually see some expression. Anybody at the bar, Sister Lila, you might catch this too since you're talking with Big Business. He doesn't try to hide it. He says, "Where'd you get that, big guy?"
Big Business kind of gives Delilah a look and then looks back.
I came to do business.
With a VIP chip. He kind of looks suspiciously at you.
Business closes the briefcase.
Like I said, I came to do business.
He says, "Well, he said, that token's worth about 500 caps. We only give it to our VIP guests. So why don't you take it over to Blackjack and see if you can win yourself some money?"
Mm.
The VIPs get a +1.
He says, "For children of Adam, of course."
See, I get some perks.
Big
and
Business
privileges.
is gonna
He
is
says,
Mortimer with us too?
I believe Mortimer's nearby. In my mind,
Okay.
Mortimer's like all eyes on this place, like constantly watching for suspicious
Yeah,
bullshit.
I probably walked up to the two of them, but I'm looking around. I'm
Just
scanning,
in time for you to hear
getting it.
500 caps. And he pulls another token out and sets it on the table for Delilah. And he says, "These are meant for our Children of Adam guest anyways, which is why I'm so curious as to why you have one." And he looks right at Big Business.
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
He told you that those chips are reserved for their VIP guests, which are Children of Adam only. And you
Of
have
course.
one. So he's curious as to how he's beginning to piece together maybe how you came across it.
Big Business
How
will
did we
stare
get it
directly
again?
at him.
He took it
Uh,
off of
a
The dead.
corpse.
Yeah.
one of the corpses in the bottom of the germination.
Big Business will look across at Maxwell and say,
We came to follow up on some things for the last son.
Really? Would you like to make a speech charisma
That
check,
was
Big Business? That's
I
a
would
lie.
love
Big
to.
Business. All right.
That was bold.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
I'm going to
Spend an AP.
spend a luck point.
Oh, well, you do that
to-
after. Oh, or
Well, I want to use it instead of my normal charisma. and My normal charisma is 5.
yep. So
My
you want
luck
to
is
roll
7.
with your luck number instead.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And if you guys don't mind, I want to use an action point too.
Go for it.
Okay. So this will be And here's big business. First speech roll of the whole entire campaign, but I made this a tag skill and it's max for big business because he's big business. So this is going to be speech.
Charisma.
So 3 d20, and actually it'll be luck.
And then, yeah, and you'll use your luck, so you'll have to custom roll it.
So luck speech. 3d20 luck speech. Here we go.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
What a combo.
Would you like to
Holy.
keep that complication or not?
Interesting.
Oh God. Well, if I
Keep it complicated, dude. You just succeeded so hard.
I did, but with a I'm gonna spend a luck point and try to
Okay,
reroll.
and
Nice.
reroll that 20. Okay.
Yeah. I don't wanna I want this to go
Or a
really
5.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, at least
so
it's not complicated. You still got
still
3. You still got the 3,
3.
which is very good. He kind of stops and
Wow.
looks at Sister
Okay.
Delilah. You have a child of Adam with you, so that's a real plus plus. You have one of the tokens, which is suspicious, but if you're saying that you're here to do business, he leans over and he says, I see. Well, it's not time for your usual pickup yet. I still have 2 days. Our numbers are down.
The plans have changed.
Right. Well, knowing that, why don't you make yourself comfortable and give me through the evening to resolve the matter?
I don't see why I can't take a look now.
He says, well, you know we don't. Why don't you wait right here?
I'd love to speak to someone who knows more about what's going on than you do.
This is when you see his face change. And he says, if you were really working for the last son of Adam, you would know that I hold all of the power here.
Oh dear.
And about this time as he says that, there's an eruption from the blackjack table. The man there in his like suit and everything yells, "We've got a cheater! We've got a cheater!" And you see men who were in suits kind of like sitting around gambling, drinking, perk up. Clearly like security. They don't have weapons. Well, I say that. They don't have any guns. They pull out like clubbing sticks, like police sticks, basically. And they walk over and the guy's like, I didn't cheat, I swear. And the guy's like, I saw him pull a spare card from his jacket. Look, there it is on the table. And the man's like, I swear, I didn't cheat. I swear to God, I didn't cheat. And 2 of the security guys come over. All the music stops on the stage. They pick him up, and Maxwell Cantor looks right at you, big business. And he says, well, look at that. Our recruiting numbers are going up already. And you watch as they carry this man over to the elevator. He's kicking and screaming, denying it the whole way that he did not cheat. You watch the blackjack guy rake all the caps that he had put on the table for betting into the pool, like the dealer's pool. The guy at the door pulls the elevator. It opens up. They get on. The door closes. He pushes the handle. The elevator disappears. And then the music starts back up on the stage. Maxwell Cantor goes, I'm so sorry for the interruption. What were you saying? And he looks right at Sister Delilah.
We were just looking to continue continue enjoying our time here.
Well, he says there's no better way to enjoy it than gambling a few caps that aren't even yours. And he slides the coin over and he says, why don't you go play a few hands?
Gladly.
He looks at Mortimer and he says, unfortunately, I can't give you VIP access. Looking at your hat, he might think you're Minutemen, but he can't quite place you because you're not really in Minutemen colors, you know? Like, you got the vibe. You're Jon Snow. You got the vibe, but you're not actually the thing, okay? So, like, he's kind of like, but he's not totally trusting, and he looks at big business and says, and you, of course, already have one, so.
I'll pull out the leaflet and like hold it and be like, maybe next time.
Maybe.
We're working on this one, you know. It's a work in progress.
He leans over to just you, Sister Delilah, as he, kind of pushes the coin, like use it as an excuse to push the coin and get a little close. And he says, we do have a solution for that as well.
Oh. Well, I'm sure I'll hear all about it soon.
I have no doubt. And as you y'all head over to Blackjack?
Yes. The VIP area.
Yeah,
yes.
Which is basically the blackjack table. It is very kind of private. It's the only one, and it's the only thing that really has a dealer hard in this place. There's maybe a roulette table, but everybody seems to want to play blackjack. And after the cheating hand and everything, he's kind of clearing the table and resetting. A lot of people get up and decide maybe they don't want to play blackjack anymore. And Fusion Susan finishes her set. There's a lot of applause and clapping as you come over. And you see the man there, your dealer. He is, not in the right section here. He is, I would not call him handsome, but he, he has a charm. He has a charm. And he says, so, you here to play some blackjack?
We are indeed.
And he goes, well, you can't play blackjack standing. Have a seat.
Big Business will look down at the seat.
It's kind of small, but it should hold you.
I attempt.
It creaks a little. He looks like, okay. This is Vault Tech, okay? These are Vault Tech chairs, so they're meant to last, nuclear explosions. So we're doing all right. Sister Delilah, you sit down. Mortimer, do you sit down with them, or are you going to play? Is the question.
I'm trying to decide. I have 15 caps. I forget if I ever got paid for the... I assume I got paid for the job bringing survivors to...
you did.
Diamond
they
City,
did hand you caps.
I may not have written it down.
They did hand you caps for that. And I think, let me see if y'all have any as a crew, because sometimes I'll hold on. Yeah, y'all have, you're sitting on an additional 110 caps as just a group, like things that you've collected off bodies that hasn't been claimed. So y'all do have some betting money. I will be real on that front. You got some caps you could bet. And then, well, I'd say you have caps from the last Diamond City job, but you've not cashed in on those yet. You haven't actually gone to pick them up from clearing out the sewers, making a new. So right now the mayor's sitting on your caps.
I think Mortimer sits out because he doesn't like the idea of being tied to a spot in the middle of the room.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because as they sit down and you kind of debate if you're going to sit and maybe you opt out of it, there's an accidental shoulder that bumps into you. She says, oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's Fusion Susan.
Oh.
And she says, my goodness, buy a girl a drink? And she looks right at you, Mortimer.
Can I afford a drink?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. They're pretty cheap, 5 caps, 10 caps. They want you to be able to spend money. While you're here. So she kind of bats her eyes at you, and you can see she has a train of people that are trying to be like, Fusion, hey, excuse me, ma'am. And she has chosen you out of the group. And she says, I mean, it doesn't look like you're going to sit down and play any cards, so.
Sure. What are you having?
I don't know. Whatever you're having. And she kind of scoops you in the arm and kind of drags Mortimer away. And you see the dealer at the table kind of laugh a little bit, as if she probably does this a lot.
Big Business, as you look back at us, Big Business gives you a wicked grin and a glint in his eye.
Yeah. You know these.
It's like, your turn, motherfucker.
Exactly.
And as this dealer laughs, he says, so, I'm Blackjack. Welcome to Blackjack's Blackjacks.
That's a lot of blackjack.
He says, that's all we can hope for. So, y'all know how this works?
No.
Okay. It's pretty simple. I'm going to deal you out 2 cards. Your goal is to get as close to the number 21 as you possibly can. You're playing against me, your dealer, Blackjack, okay? I will also be trying to get as close to possible as 21. Each round, you'll be able to bet in based on the numbers on your hand. Then once the betting round's done, you'll have a chance to opt in for an extra card in case you want to get closer to 21. But don't go over 21 because then you bust. Understood? All right,
Simple
let's play
enough.
some blackjack. All right, so I'm going to
I
deal
looked
out
at
some
Vic
cards. So what I'm going to do is deal out cards to all of you. So he begins. I'm going to shuffle. Actually, y'all, we can actually play cards in Roll20. Let me do this. All right. So we'll say big business, you're down here. Delilah, you're over here. So basically like 4 or 5 o'clock ish, 6 or 7 will be him, and then we'll say that Blackjack's at the 12 o'clock spot.
I'm not sure we're on the map that you're talking about.
Oh, have I not pulled it
In
all over?
Roll20.
Oh, I'm not. I'm so sorry. Thank you for letting me know that. There is no map. It's just a white background.
Okay.
So we'll say you're at the 6 o'clock mark. Delilah, you'll be at 3, and he'll be at 12 for ease. So he always deals to you first. So 1, 2. Delilah gets her first hand. I'm going to try to get him on screen for everybody here. Okay, 10. He gets 18. And he says, hey, not so bad. He says, let's start. Actually, we should have put bets in to begin with, but first bet round was only 5 caps to buy in. Did y'all buy in with 5, or you want to buy in with your? Okay, all right.
Yep.
So each of us, right? And he says, now you have a chance to up your bet.
I'll up.
All right, by how much? What's your pot?
Another 5.
Okay, so you at a 10. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna so that I know what you're betting, because numbers is hard. There we go. Okay, so you're at 10. All right, big guy. You gotta meet her 10 to play. You gotta put another 5 in.
Okay. I'll put another 5 in.
He says, good. And, I'm just going to keep this interesting. I'm going to go ahead and up it 10 more. That's going to make it 15. So if you want to keep playing and get another card. Anybody?
You gotta match 15.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
He's hustling, y'all. And this is his damn job, right? Oops. No, I'm so sorry. That was incorrect. That's what we want to be at. And he says, all right, you want another card?
Yes.
He says, hit it and quit it. Don't really. Oh, that's the wrong card. Don't hit that.
Oh, I get some items.
Yeah. He says,
useless junk.
we're looking at a 12 for the lady. Let me pull you over here. And we're looking at a 17 for the big guy. I am at an 18. I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna not take a card. Last chance to bet.
If I don't have a number bigger than yours, then I lose.
Yeah, big guy. I would be closest to 21. And then I'll take your caps. That's how this works.
Then I will bet 5.
All right.
Or can I not bet but still take another card?
Technically, yeah, because I held this round. So if you hold this round, she holds this round, you both get a card. Don't have to pay more. Technically.
Sure.
Let's keep it at that.
Okay, card for you. Oh, it's the bust. No, it's not.
No,
it's
that's actually at 21
that's
for me.
21.
I think.
God damn it. Okay.
Adam's on my side.
He says, oh, big guy's on a bus. But looks like the lady here got a solid 21. Lucky draw of the hand. I'd say lady wins the pot totaling 45 caps.
Oh, let's go.
So I'll update this one to be 45.
Adam's glow is with me.
So that one, you can take that one. And he says, all right, who's in for another hand, another round?
Big business is going to look around for Mason.
Mason is puttering over with that look in his stalks as if it's Savoy, not Mason. And he looks like, yeah, he knows something.
Hello, Mason.
I would say Mason probably turns so that you can actually see what has his front, right? So his mustache, right? When you say that, he kind of turns and he putters your way.
I see that you found the blackjack table. How's it going?
Well, this
Delilah.
lady here, she just won all the caps.
She won everything. Well, I am not surprised. She's rather lucky.
Is she now?
I would call it blessed, not luck.
Well, don't you worry. If there's one thing the Mirage is good for, it's it's luck. He kind of says,
Sus.
not
Some
entirely believing
hesitance.
it. Yeah.
Business says,
Blackjack, what did you do before you did this? Like
What?
the other person was a psychometrist.
Psychiatrist.
Yes. And the other person was a scientist. What did you do?
Well, I was a scientist.
As well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We were all scientists of some sort, or doctors.
Mm.
You know,
Okay.
I used to count numbers one way. Now I count numbers another way.
I see. That's all.
So we
You
in for
can
another
ask
round?
You sure?
Oh. Okay. I'll ask you. What did you do
You
before?
don't have to.
What
No,
did you
it's
do
not
before
as-
before you came to my table?
Before I came to the table, I was in an elevator. Well, no, I was at a table.
No,
like
kid.
that one.
Kid, I meant before in life. What'd you do before?
Before what I currently do.
he sort of spaces out a little bit.
I would kill people and eat them. Mostly. It wasn't very nice.
So you don't like bad people, huh?
No, I don't like bad people. I don't think anyone likes bad people.
Yeah, no. we don't like bad people here at the Mirage. No bad people. Here, let's play a round. It's 5 caps more to buy in for a second round, so 10 to start. Anybody?
Okay. Mason, you must be good at numbers. You should play with
Oh,
us.
no counting cards now. That's cheating.
What does that mean?
What to count cards? It means that you use, your brain, technically, to read the natural algorithm of the pull of the cards so that you know what's coming or what's in the other person's hand so that you can have an ante up against your betting. It's technically not allowed. I'm so sorry. You're welcome to play, but you can't use... Actually, can he play? I've never had a robot at the table. You want to play? That'd be fun.
I can't guarantee that I won't familiarize myself with the algorithm and count your cards.
Well, you see what happens to cheetahs, so maybe you want to sit this one out, big guy.
I think I will.
Right. All right, 10 to buy in. Here we go. Dealer's up.
Yeah, I thought it was 5 to buy in.
Second round, kid. You got to up the ante. Blind gets larger.
Whose ante is it?
Well, it's all of our... That's what the early pool is called. It's like up in the ante.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
All right, I just shoved 10 caps.
Yeah.
All right.
You, begin pulling and...
Deal me in as well.
He says, don't look so sad, honey. Your luck's been so good. Mason, as you're watching, I will let you make a survival perception check.
Got it.
Because why the heck not? All right. He says, and who am I? You got to play the dealer, right? And who says the house always wins? Okay. All right, Mason.
This will be. I'm gonna use a luck point on
Great.
that one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Is there a way to reroll off of that? Do I just do?
Not technically. The easiest way is just to do a custom roll with a single d20.
Got it.
And while you're kind of watching him, he begins dealing cards.
2 successes.
Oh, 2 successes. That's food paste. You don't want that.
I won.
Everybody's 10 caps in. He's like, here's a rhubarb pie, just because.
just for you. All right, it's we got a 12 for the big guy. We got an 8 for the dealer. We got a 13 for the lady. All right, new round of betting.
Oh, let me actually deduce the caps that I lost last round.
Yeah, totally. Whatever you need.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you got 45.
Yeah.
Or
500.
Technically 30.
Mason, as you're watching him, you can see he's very good with cards. He deals very quickly. Because of before times, you're privy to all kinds of bits of knowledge that really don't exist anymore. Things like sleight of hand, magic tricks, and things like that. This man is definitely skirting the edge of being a little tricky. Not just in his dealings, but you can tell he is counting cards. He is setting them up.
Sure. Are there other people watching the table, or is it?
Nope, it's just the two of them playing. After the last guy cheated, the people that were at the table kind of they were done with blackjack. Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Blackjack.
He says, "Yeah, you're not supposed to interrupt a hand."
You're right, but there's many things that you're also supposed to not be doing in the middle of a game of blackjack. Perhaps you'd like a fresh shuffle.
I don't know what you're talking about, kid.
Is there any way that I can, like, classically sense motive here? Or others might be able to?
Sure. Actually, I think you can roll to find out. Let's see. Yeah, I see here. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, you can.
It'd be like a speech perception or something like that?
Yeah, it's really a speech charisma to see if he's lying to you as he's talking or trying to, like, skirt around the issue. And he says, I'd be happy to deal a whole new hand. You know what? I'll just even take these cards and put them off to the side. We're not even going to use those cards. We don't even want those cards. Here, you know what? Fresh hand for the big guy. That's 21. Look at that. He won immediately.
Never mind. I like those cards better.
He goes, see, how could I be cheating if he's winning on the first hand? Oh, and a 20 for the dealer. Really unfortunate for me. And the lady here is not in Adam's glow today. 14.
14.
I got 2 successes.
And he says, unfortunately, big guy here got 2 successes, the 21, so he gets all the monies. So big business, you got yourself 30 caps right off the bat. Man, what a great hand. Such a good hand in your favor. And you can tell he's really leaning into the, like, oh, look, he won. Mason, as you continue to watch him, you can tell that he is playing the table. Over time, he builds people up, like Delilah for a win, him for a win, to get people to put more and more and more caps in. And then he very clearly is setting them up.
He buries them.
Buries them, and then they start getting a lot of caps, and he calls them cheaters. It's exactly what he did with the last guy. Because, like, look at all their caps. They must be the ones counting cards. They must be the ones cheating. But because you rolled so well and you got the second success, here's what I'll tell you. You can sense that he does not enjoy doing this.
Sure.
This is not his choice. He is probably a very good card dealer. He probably wants to run an honest table. The vibe that you get is that he's not enjoying cheating these people.
Okay. In my time around the floor, how many of the palm trees did I see?
Oh, quite a few. Hang on a second. Let me get their caps sorted here. Y'all can take these. So that's the 30 for big business, and there's the Miss Magic. Delilah's 45. I mean, you see quite a few. This location, it actually tells me. I mean, how about this? There are above table 32 people that live on the Mirage.
Okay.
You may not see them all now, but between, like, the staff, the bartenders, the people that upkeep, the security, Maxwell Cantor, Fusion Susan, this weird guy, Old Man Murray over at the slots, like, there's quite a few people here. And if you're talking about the evacuation of a vault, if most everybody survived, probably, 20 or 30 people could live on this thing.
Okay. As this hand comes to a close and winners are announced, I will step in now that the hand is over, right? Because I'm not supposed to speak in the middle of the hand.
Right. And he says, "Well, that was a great hand. I'd be happy to try to win the next one if you want to play another round." He kind of
Perhaps that I can borrow them briefly.
borrow what?
My compatriots.
Oh, yeah, they're free to go. I mean, we're between rounds. Y'all can always come back. Oh, but I'm gonna have to cash out your tokens because you're not supposed to take those with you. And he reaches under the table very clearly into some kind of safe, counts out 500 caps. Now, you lost 15 and then 10, so sans 25, but then you got 30 back. So you get 505, big business. And Delilah, you bet 15 and 10. Got your 15 back. You're down temperature at 45, so you get like 535 or something like that, give or take. I think is right. So he basically cashes out your token for hard caps. Because he knows that's the best way for you to spend them. And then he takes your 2 tokens back from you.
Okay.
So make a big note that basically y'all got big cap numbers. And if I need to update
the VIP chips are gone.
Yeah, the chip itself is gone. He made sure to claim those and cash it in for the caps, all the caps. And he says, but while you're here with us, don't forget to spend those. We got some delicious eats. You can take some time, watch another show at the Oasis. The slot machines. I heard for every 5 caps you put in, there's a payout. But you didn't hear it from me.
Big business sits up and walks over with Mason.
Yeah.
All right, have a good evening. It was nice chatting with you. Delilah, before you leave the table, he says, don't forget your caps, and he pushes the bag over, and he kind of grabs your hand. And not in a, dangerous way, but in a kind of quick, nobody saw this happen kind of way, and he leans over very quickly in your ear, and he says, please help us. He says, I don't want to do this anymore. And he lets his hand go. And he says, come back and play some more rounds.
Okay. Delilah will maintain composure and walk.
I imagine Mason goes over to the corner where you're supposed to meet Old Man Murray in a little bit.
Yep.
But our camera cuts to the bar. To a crowd of people that are kind of following and trying to be in the general vicinity of Fusion Susan, who is locked arms with Mortimer. And she takes you over to the bar, and the seat that she wants to get in is currently occupied. She says, excuse me, that's my favorite seat. And he goes, oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. As he kind of gets up and offers her the seat. And she says, have a seat next to me, handsome. What's your name?
Mortimer.
Oh, what a manly name, Mortimer.
And you're Susan, right?
I'm Fusion Susan, but yeah, I'll let you just call me Susan since it's casual setting.
Nice to meet you. And I'm going to order something, but because Bentham doesn't know anything about drinks, I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, does he order something extravagant, or do you order raw alcohol on ice?
I probably go for something more fancy because I'm that's the situation I'm in, but it's probably something that Mortimer has maybe never even had before. He's like, I don't know what this is, but I know that it's what people with more means than me drink.
Sure. And Maxwell Cantor comes over, and he says, the same as usual, Susan? She says, yeah, and he's on my tab. Or am I on your tab? Or does it really matter? She kind of laughs and adjusts her, feather boa. She's in this gaudy sequin dress. And Maxwell begins kind of fixing drinks, and she leans on the bar kind of into your space, Mortimer, and she says, so, tell me your story.
Oh, it's not particularly interesting. I mostly just help people get around in the wilderness.
Oh, a survivalist. How manly. And she kind of leans in again and she says, so, we don't get a lot of rugged types around here. You always seem to be so busy with other things. It's always drunkards, people with a gambling problem, raiders, unsavory types.
That's why you keep on the move.
She says, I saw you on stage while I was singing. You picked up one of those pamphlets off the bar. You interested in, his teachings?
The words are interesting. I like whoever wrote them.
Oh, me too. Do you know the first time I met him, he inspired me so much. It was like waking up with a new set of eyes. I just can't even explain it. He filled me with some new inspiration. It was like a muse. Staring into his beady yellow eyes on the other side of that radioactive glass, I thought to myself, Susan, if you don't lock that down, you're losing out, girl. Have you ever met him? Stood in his presence, felt the radiation basking off of him?
I haven't had the pleasure, but muse is the
like-
right word.
Ah, yes. He is my muse.
You used to be a psychiatrist, Maxwell here told me.
Oh, yeah, long ago I used to listen to everybody else's problems. You're not gonna ask me to listen to your problems, are you?
No. I think I'm sure you've got enough troubles of your own.
Ah, not anymore, I don't. Not since I put on the sequins and the feathers. I got to show off my talents in a different way. Nobody told me what I had to do, just what I wanted.
You don't miss it at all?
Living in a vault, always scared somebody's gonna come knocking at the door and kill you? Yeah, no. No.
I think, like, as she says that, I glance down the bar at the two guys that are there, and back at her.
They're clearly,
I don't hide it.
Yeah, they clearly they make eyes with you because they're watching the two of you. And she says, "Don't." And she kind of she touches your chin and turns your head back to her. She says, "Don't bother with them. They're just here on routine business."
I know even on the move, you're in danger.
Ah.
It's just a different kind of danger.
Only that cattle outside. We've lost quite a few of them over the last few weeks. Those frost pharaohs just love to eat them up. You don't know where we could get some fresh Brahmin, do you?
Not really. I know of one, and I think they're busy.
Oh, well. We don't need a busy Brahmin. She kind of laughs. And she says, "Okay, fine, Mr. Mysterious. Keeping secrets to yourself. We're
I'm
heading..."
gonna have some secrets.
She goes, "We're looping southward, close to the glowing sea. If you're really interested, when, we let you off in a few days, you could head that direction. Go see for yourself. If you do, can you give him a message for me when you see him?
I absolutely could. What's the message?
Can you tell him I'm ready? I'm ready to go with him. To tell him I'll be his right-hand woman, the fusion Susan sends her love, and that I've been singing his praises and teaching his good word through my music. Could you do that for me? Huh?"
I could do that. What's the rush to get out of here?
Oh, no rush to get out of here. It's just when you see something like that changes you, who you are, your priorities are different. And it used to be that all I cared about was this place and singing my music. But then when I met my muse, I realized that I'm nothing without him. I want to be by his side. I could be what he needs in, companionship and a partnership. And I could sing for his followers and his masses and inspire them, huh? Yeah? Could you do that for me?
I'm not
This
sure he's
woman
as much
is
of a.
like on the cusp of... It's like what is it when you're kidnapped and you kind of fall in love with your kidnapper? Like, we're definitely
Stockholm syndrome?
We're definitely on the cusp of Stockholm here.
I think what Wonder says is, I don't think he's as much of a muse as he used to be.
She goes, "Well, I haven't seen him in many months, at least not since the storm. He doesn't come by so much anymore. He just sends his lackeys."
I think if you wanted to see your muse again, you might want to look elsewhere.
Well, where else would I look?
I've been a few places. I've met a few people that have their own way with words.
Well, I'll say this, handsome. If you decide, you want to give it a try, those guys down at the end of the bar, they're going to get off here in a few days, right by the glowing sea. You could go with them. And if you're a child of Adam, you get special accommodations. Especially if you're a new recruit. They treat you real nice.
Hmm.
Unless you want to sleep in the pods with everybody else back there where it's smelly.
I had a friend who... They'd never been here, but they knew someone who was here, I think. They mentioned them once, so I forget the details, but someone by the name of Maybe? And I study very closely the reaction.
She says, we have a Maybe on board, though I don't know why you'd want to talk to him.
Oh? How come?
Well, 'cause he's kind of off his rocker. He spent too much time staring at, slot machines, and he's lost the scroll.
Oh, really? It might still be nice to meet him.
Well, if you think you can get something out of him, you'll find him in the same corner he's always in, drunk as a skunk. Oh, there he goes, shuffling about, going to do something he's not supposed to, no doubt. And you see this,
Well,
like,
nice
old
to know
man,
he's
like,
here.
shh, like, shuffling across a casino, like a proper casino in Vegas, as he kind of, like, shuffles off to one of the far corners. And you can see a warm glow. You can't see him, but you are assured that's the warm glow of Mason. And maybe just the top of Big Business's, like, hat, where it's been, like, eaten away. You can tell that your crew is hiding in the back corner behind the slots in some somewhat mysterious but not really secretive way. She says, good luck with that. His name's Murray.
Ah, yes, that's right. I remember now. Mr. Cantor, another drink for the lady, and I'm gonna slide across whatever caps it takes, which is not most of what I have.
Not much, about like 10 caps. Yes, whatever you got in your pocket. And she says, thanks for the drink. If you change your mind, let me know before you decide to lay your head down. I'll be happy to take you to the private Children of Adam quarters.
I might just take you up on that.
She says, you should. And she kind of runs a hand just down the front of, like, your jacket. And she says, stick around. I got one more performance in me.
I won't miss it.
And as you go and walk around the corner, you can see this old man shuffling up, where Big Business, Mason, and Sister Lilila are crammed into a corner. With one person or two would be kind of incognito. It's not with all of them, like, kind of standing there on the back side of these slot machines. And this old man comes kind of wandering up, and he goes, are y'all ready? I'm about to blow your minds. Who are these two? Why is he a super mutant? You didn't tell me there'd be other people. Who's this?
Yeah, what?
Who are you?
If you're talking, Mason, your voice box is not working.
Now better. Sorry.
So, am I with them, or is this happening before I join?
You walk up as they're having
Okay.
the intro conversation, and then he turns around and goes, who's this? We have more people.
Oh, how did it go, Mortimer?
It was enlightening.
Are you a provider now?
Not yet.
Murray, these are my comrades, and
Mason leans in.
I believe I'm speaking with Murray Maybe.
How'd you know my name? I don't like this anymore.
Murray, it's fine.
No, it's not. Nobody calls me that.
One person does. One very small person does.
I'm gonna reach into my pocket and I'm gonna pull out a folded piece of paper and hand it to him, and it is his name written in Muse's handwriting.
He kind of snatches it from you, and he has to, like, do the old man thing for his eyes to adjust, and he says, Muse. He says, "Where is she? What have you done with her?"
She's safe. She got away.
How can I
She's
trust
somewhere
you?
where he can't find her.
You mean she's not with him anymore?
No.
I will kind of open up my central containing area, and I'll pull up the drawing that she gave me of Super Mason.
He kind of smiles. No, he knows his own daughter's drawings, and he knows her handwriting, and it gives him comfort to see that she's still making things in spite of everything else. And he says, "It's not really safe here for me to be having this conversation, so we got to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. No questions, only answers." You're not sure how that
Okay.
works, but
Can
he
we
sees.
get... All right.
Go ahead.
He says, "Maxwell's always been good to us until he showed up in his big suit with all of his followers. No offense." He looks at Sister Delilah, as always.
Shakes her head.
Unaffiliated.
He said he made a deal, a nasty one. In exchange for all of our lives, he took my daughter. Seems like you already know that. He says, but in addition, he promised us safety, that we wouldn't be bothered during his day of division if we helped with his recruiting numbers. And he looks around as if like the slot machines would hear him talk.
Well, how can we help?
I don't really know. He said, we've been stuck like this for a while. Me and Blackjack, we've been trying to slow down the pace of the recruitment numbers. We keep them below deck.
Is there some form of indoctrination?
I guess you could say that. If by indoctrination you mean they're the battery power cell that makes this whole place light up. We literally run them till they can't run anymore. Till they beg us to leave with the last son of Adam. Wears them down.
I thought that might be the case.
He says, I know where they're at. All the people. They're below deck. I know how to get there.
Mary, just how many of them are allied with you and Blackjack as of this moment?
It's only us. Maxwell threatened Blackjack, said he had to start making people cheat to hit recruitment numbers.
So if we were to dispatch Maxwell, then others might turn to see the correct path, the morally high path.
There's also two sons of Atom by the bar.
There's always
keeping an eye
children
on
of
the
Adam in
place.
here. Since
Yeah.
security's behind them, anything that keeps the food flowing and the children of Adam off our back. If you think these people are going to turn tail and run immediately, you got to give them something better than what he gave them. I don't know that you can do that right now, huh?
So he provides them food.
He provides all of us food, water, safety. But I got a plan. And you can see the craziness when he says it. I know how to get down below deck. There's a secret door, a latch on the inside of the bar. Goes straight down into the hold. Only Maxwell Cantor uses it. I need a distraction. And that distraction is all of you being caught cheating and getting kidnapped. You want to get downstairs, the only way to do it is to be part of the problem.
All of us?
I mean, unless you don't want to.
I mean, we probably shouldn't split up in this place because we don't even know the full parameters of it. So yes, I think it should be all of us.
When we're taken, do they search us?
No. They will toss you downstairs. How are you on a bike? He looks at
I
Mason.
don't have legs.
Right. They may find a different purpose for you. Welcome
They
in,
need
Raiders.
power.
We're really glad to have you here. Welcome to our kind of
Raiders,
weird moment in the
where?
Fallout game. So sorry, just a little Fallout indentured servitude, as you do. And he says, so, when Fusion Susan starts playing in everybody's eyes, go back over to Blackjack. Make a scene, get captured, and then go downstairs.
All right.
Then it's an open fight with the children of Adam. We kill some people, and then we have
No,
control.
nobody can die.
Well, we get down there, we rescue the people, but then what? We're still stuck in this place with all those people who don't want us to do that.
He kind of stops and looks around and goes, I haven't thought that far.
Right.
I only thought about how to
Surprising
get you
that I have.
kidnapped. And you realize Murray's plan was basically get y'all kidnapped. You want to get downstairs, get you kidnapped.
Murray, I have an idea. Can you guide me to the primary junction which delivers power to the lighting?
Downstairs.
There's no other way.
And nope.
Very well, I will investigate. Please, stand by.
Wait. And he puts his hand up, but you have to promise to take me with you. I want to see my daughter again.
That's the plan.
And he kind of puts a crinkly old hand on your shoulder, and in a thank you, a relief to hear that somebody hasn't forgotten that, like, he just wants to be reunited with his daughter. And he says, so I'm going to go back over to the slots. Nothing suspicious. When you all get ready, you let me know, and if you need some extra support, I'll be around. I can make a scene. Getting kidnapped around here is easy, especially when our recruitment numbers are low.
Very well, Murray. We'll let you know. There will be a sign. That I can promise.
As long as it's a good one. And he says, hey, she's taking the stage. Don't look suspicious. He says kind of a little too loud as he kind of turns around and tries to go back to his slot machine to not look suspicious. And on the way, he snatches up a bottle of beer that's been sitting for who knows how long unfinished and begins to drink from it.
Don, I'd like to find. I've got to find some sort of power source. Not even necessarily a source as much as I'd like to find cables.
Here you're gonna have to go, unless it's just the power cable for the slot machines, all of the major electrical stuff runs downstairs, which
Okay.
is kind of what he's telling you. If you can get down there, you might be able to find what you're looking for.
So are
Yeah.
we walking on solid steel? Is it what are there any cutouts, anything that looks like or appears to have been welded or anything like that?
I mean, everything is patchwork, in honesty. Everything is basically the walls of a Vault-Tec vault that have been repatched work to make this whole building. So, yes, there's a lot of seams, carriage bolts, reskinning of walls and beams and all kinds of stuff.
Okay, then given this, I'm expecting there to be some sort of visible cabling. I'm thinking thick cables at some point. If it's going to provide upper paneling, it's kind of patchworked. They don't exactly strike me as decorators, so I'm gonna guess that they probably have some form of mass cabling running into the floor.
That's probably true. If the major electrical's downstairs, it would have to run through the floor to hit this floor, right? So it runs up. So that is probably true. There is probably some kind of electrical. More than likely, they'd run it up a wall, not the floor, but from down below and up. You know that he just told you there is some kind of hatch, probably the same kind of electrical hatch at the bar. So there has to be some kind of cabling running to the bar. There has to be some kind of cabling running to the security cameras below deck, the television screen, and the electrical security for weapons hold. So there are some very distinct places. You know you're going to have a lot of electrical running up the wall for all of these slot machines.
Yeah.
And her stage alone has a ton of lights, a ton of sound system. So, there's also probably electrical cables running up the backside of the stage as well, up, to the ceiling.
Okay, can I isolate and identify the cabling for the lighting?
potentially, what are you trying to actually do?
I want to cut the lights in this place.
That's going to be very hard without being seen.
Well, I imagine in the midst of her performance, unless I'm directly spotted, I might have an in for that. I'm still trying to hedge my bets.
Well, and again, the goal is a distraction. He just told you cheating's the easiest way to get downstairs. If you mess with their electrical, they might just kill you on the spot. They don't consider that cheating, so.
Then I think Mason would probably express that to people.
There is a strong chance, given what we know versus what's currently happening, that this place demands a significant power source. And we know now that it is being driven by human hands and legs. However, if we can cut the converted power via cables directly to this location, it could shut down operations for a short time.
Yes, that would be very dangerous.
Granted, you won't be able to get in the hatch or the weapons locker. Those are electrically powered, so if you turn the power off.
It might be best just to let ourselves be captured all at once so we have an opportunity to work as a group to overwhelm our captors, or that could fail and we could be trapped down there forever.
It will likely isolate us, and as Murray has said, I will be positioned in a very different location.
But you will, in the meantime, be in some kind of processing area, and you do have your flamethrower.
I have more than that. I have a saw arm.
I snuck something too.
Devil.
And big business is big business.
We are the weapons.
Exactly.
And she takes the stage. There's whistling, catcalling, the works for Fusion Susan, and she eats it up. As she glitters under this beam of light, the Mr. Handy with all of the arms begins playing drums over here, tooting a trumpet or something over here, and the music begins to kick up for another song, and she just simply says, "This one is one of my favorites. It's called My Atomic Baby," and she begins singing her rendition of My Atomic Baby, and all eyes are on her, and you can see Blackjack is aware that y'all are plotting something, and that Murray also came out from behind the slot, so he's in on something, and you know that he's been working with Blackjack. So Blackjack's beginning to look real nervous now about what the fuck are y'all going to do? And as the lights dim and all of y'all kind of creep out from behind around the slot machines to start a distraction, we're going to take a very quick little break, and we will be right back. Let's refill, get a drink, and we'll be back in 10 minutes, everybody. everybody, and welcome back to more Fallout Winter of Adam. Our crew is inside of the Mirage. They have been given some vital information from really two people, because Blackjack tried to give it to Sister Delilah, that things are not as they seem. And I think Mason has some good vibes on what might be going on here. But Old Man Murray, who we found out is in fact Muse's father, has given them validation on some of this and told them that the people that are disappearing, the cheaters that volunteer to work their time off, are downstairs. And the easiest way to get down there is to be accused of cheating. And as we come back up, Fusion Susan has taken the stage singing My Atomic Baby as she puts out another, I don't want to call it a requiem. I guess we're not there yet. He's not dead. But puts out another tune in honor of her dear love, the last son of Adam. And as all of you creep from in the darkness kind of around behind the slot machines, you can see Blackjack kind of giving you the eyes. Like,
It's now or never.
Sit down at the table.
You have a seat, and he says, "So you're back to play some more hands? You ready to win some more caps, huh? Because I'm definitely an honest table, and I'm not cheating." And he looks at Mason, who called him out last time.
I don't know if there's anything for me to say here. It just sounds like, unless you guys want Mason to lead this conversation.
He'll just start dealing cards.
I have a thought, but it might be too late. So we're moving forward with. Okay, you know what? No, it's fine. I will also deal in at the table.
Okay, so he kind of starts dealing cards. You can tell he's not as interested in actually playing the game as much as like watching y'all of like what's gonna happen, and trying to get like confirmation. Like, do you want me to call, like, make a scene? Like, what is the cue? Right, as he kind of deals a hand, and he says, dealer wins. You lost 5 caps. You lost 5 caps. He doesn't take your caps. He's just going through the motions because most people right now are all eyes on Fusion Susan.
I think I'm gonna sort of lock eyes with him and be like, "Dealer, how do you fancy our chances?" And as I say that, I start to just pick up my card and put it's like on my wrist, ready to slide in my sleeve. What do you think of our chances?
He says, "Those chances are not looking good." And he kind of looks around and gives you all the kind of like 1, 2, 3 countdown. And he says, "Hey, we got another cheetah over here. Cheetah."
Big Business would like to have not been with them.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay. You can return.
Do you go to the slots with Old Man Murray?
Big Business is investigating where the weapons are kept.
Oh, okay, so that's the weapons locker. Okay.
Yeah.
Which there is security by the weapons locker. He's kind of leaning against the chain metal fence and is watching Fusion Susan. But yeah, he's on post, if you would. I would not call him very aware at the moment.
Sure.
Okay, and he calls it, and a couple of the guards peep up, and he makes the gesture at Mortimer, trying not to stop Fusion Susan's performance, and he says he's cheating, and the guys kind of come over, and you hear one of the guys grab you by the arms, and he says, "It's time for you to volunteer to pay off your debts, sir." And they pull the card from your sleeve and slap it on the table, and Blackjack gives you eyes like, "I am so sorry, dude. Like, I'm."
Well, you can't take him alone. I was helping. Counting cards.
It's
I'm
true.
a criminal.
I told him he couldn't have the robot at the table, and he keeps bringing the robot at the table. You
can't stop me.
Well,
you can try.
Like, damn it, Mason, he can't lie. It ruins all the plans.
I'm incapable. Trust him.
The other guy goes, "Well, I can't put handcuffs on him," and he says, "Well, come on," and kind of pushes you a little bit, Mason, as you like forward towards the bar. And Maxwell,
be careful now. Just because I'm metal doesn't mean I'm not fragile.
Maxwell Cantor looks very dad disappointed as the two of you are brought up, and Maxwell Cantor says, you haven't even been on here 24 hours. We made it very, very clear that cheating is not allowed. Take them downstairs. You can begin volunteering now. What was your name? Mortimer. He says, as for this one, and he looks at Mason, he says, put him in isolation. Maybe we'll find some use for his parts.
You can only hold me so long. I was a villain by design.
And you see that a piece of the bar slips open, like flips upright, as they push you both in. And Maxwell Cantor flips back the circle rug in the middle, and there is a door. And he says, be done with this quickly. It's our final performance of the night. We're interrupting. They both nod. And Maxwell beeps in a code on a pad behind the bar. And you kind of hear the door like as it pops, and he pulls the lid open, and there's a very steep staircase that walks down into a deck.
Can I try to peep that code?
You sure can make a survival
like to.
perception.
I'd like to. Does anybody mind if I use an action point here?
Go
Do
ahead.
it.
Go for it.
I think we're full out right now.
All right, to
Good
see
one.
him do this, it is a 2.
Okay. It did not roll another die, so I'm gonna
roll
try.
one more.
I got it.
You got it. You
Yes.
got the 2. You do peep the code. It's 4 digits. It's a 4-digit number code. You have it, like 2036.
Got it.
You peep the code as he like boops it in, and it pulls open, and they begin walking you down. Mortimer, you're first. And the first thing that happens is you were met by the dense air and smell of this place. Down here, it's a narrow kind of hallway, and they have cells, like bar, jail, cell type housing facilities. Very minimal beds, hygiene options, and you can see that there are probably 10 or 12 people down here. Everything smells horrific. The old sweat of hundreds of people being forced to cram into these small conditions. And you can see in each cell, there is some kind of workout equipment. Treadmill, Vault-Tec bike, like rowing machine. And they have converted all of this into kinetic power source. And you can see these people look emaciated and tired. Yeah, and then at the end, you can see that there's a door that goes into another room, potentially, Mason, the engine room, because you can see all the cables from the workout equipment lead up and into this room, which probably is where, like, all the cables you were looking for are. That's at the very end of this holding facility. And as they come down, Mortimer, they're taking you to a cell that only has one person in it. These people are stacked 2 to 3 probably per cell. Somebody runs up to the metal fence or gate and grabs it, and he says, please, I'm ready. Tell him to take me, please. I beg you. I can't do it anymore. You can see they have a treadmill. His feet are like swollen and bleeding, and he's begging. He's like, please let him take me. And as he walks past, one of the guards that is escorting you kind of pats him on the head like an animal, and he says, don't worry, you've only got 2 more days. They'll be here to pick you up soon.
As they move me along, I will struggle enough to bother them and make them just in case there's a perfunctory search they do when they throw you in your cell. I want to be annoying enough that they skip that if they can.
Yeah, they're gonna like, hey, stop struggling, hey, and you can see nobody in here has the energy to heckle you or the guards. Most of them just have enough energy to beg. And they take you down to the end, and you see one of the guards pull out a set of keys, unlock it, and push you in. He pushes you into his cell with an older man, much older, kind of like Old Man Murray. He's clearly too old to be in a cell where he has to ride a bicycle. There are 3 cots in here. As they push you in and lock the gate back, the security guard says, You're a strong one. I hope you like riding bikes. And he says, take the robot into storage. And the guy kind of nods. The guy with the keys pockets them, turns around, goes to head upstairs. Mason, the other guy stays behind and begins forcing you farther down the hallway towards the engine room.
Sure. Once the other guard is out of sight and he keeps kind of pushing me and I'm like out of the field of public view, the moment that I kind of like, I realize that he's the only guard around, I'm assuming that there's not security cameras. We've only seen one up to this point.
You have, there are in this room security cameras. Where the feed goes to and like, what you saw upstairs was just the underbelly cam, but there are security cams in this room.
Okay. All right. Then just play along with me here. I'm sure I'm going to take some liberties. As he begins pushing me, I hint back, or I tell him,
Be careful, I beep from the...
and then I start to like power down and I fall to the ground.
Okay, you're kind of lying, but you're like technologically lying. Okay, you know what? No. I'm going to make him make a roll. He needs to roll to see if he can tell if you're malfunctioning. Okay, he definitely thinks you're malfunctioning, but he's like, hey, hunk of junk, as you like fall to the ground, he kind of kicks you with his shoe. He is believing that something's wrong with you. You've powered down. And he goes, fuck, now I gotta roll it in there. And he goes over to the wall. He puts in a 4-digit code. The door to the engine room opens up. Mortimer, you can see, because you're pretty far down, I'd put you in an empty cell, there is a large vault tech, because they literally have a massive energy source in every vault, right? They have removed it, but it is missing the power source. It doesn't have one. And it's like set at the end of this room. And then you can see all the cables like coming down from the ceiling, feeding into the rest of the building. And there is very clearly a Mr. Handy recharge pod at the back. And he begins rolling Mason's body into the room.
Can I see the code?
Can I spend? Yes. I would like, this is something that I only found out that we could do last session. But can I spend a luck point to luck of the draw and set a detail?
Yeah. What detail do you want to set?
As he is rolling me around, like my arms aren't like human arms, right? They're kind of like cabley. They're wired and they can go out really long. As he's rolling me, my arms are sort of like flipping over. Can I catch a key? Can I does he have like hanging keys or anything that I might be able to like snatch off of him?
You can. I did not plan on this guy because the guy with the keys did leave, but I will let you declare the detail that he too has a set of keys on him.
Yeah. I'll spend multiple luck points if that's okay.
So you've declared he's got keys on him, but you will have to make the roll to get them without him noticing.
Oh, great.
So it would be an agility roll to grab them, because basically you're faking being offline, and so you've got to make it look legit. So I would take an agility.
I've got this is a sleight of hand. It's lockpick.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Let's try. Because I've got the luck points. I've just not been using them, so I may as well
use them.
Sure. So here we go. Lockpick. Okay, I'm gonna re-roll that. I'm gonna.
I mean, the complication will affect him too.
You're right. It might. That's still not great. When you say it'll affect him, what does that look like?
Well, it will be a complication on the action. What it will look like is that as you're rolling and he's trying to roll you, one of your arms comes up and you're aiming to catch. You can hear the jangling of the keys at his hips. You are like, okay, as you spin around, this time you're gonna try to catch it. You do catch it, but he had a carabiner. It's like clipped to his pants. You pull his pants down and he trips over you, and you and him go ass over tea kettle rolling.
We're keeping that. That's hilarious.
That's great.
Mortimer, you see this just in time for the door to close. Man's trowel drops And he's like, oh, and he tumbles over Mason, he rolls over him like a log. And he's like, oh, and Mason's heavy, and Mason rolls once over his body. He's like, oh, and it's just kind of like a Three Stooges style thing as the door closes.
I think I laugh. I think I'm like, brilliant.
As
okay.
that
That's
door
great.
closes, I'm assuming that my eyes didn't shutter close, right? I'm assuming that they're just still kind of like perfunctory there, and they're still doing their job.
You've just turned the lights off, so it looks like you're powered down. Basically, it's a faux fake of being powered down.
But I'm aware that he flipped over me.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. The moment that happens, I'm gonna kind of power back on, just to.
He goes, oh fuck!
And as he's laying there, I will start pitting the flamer and turn the buzzsaw on.
Oh, God, are you trying to intimidate him or actually do
Yes,
damage?
it's intimidation.
Okay. Okay.
It's time to choose wisely. I think you lie very still.
He goes, what the fuck? He's not necessarily scared. He's more confused than anything. And we cut upstairs. Sister Delilah, Big Business, you watch as Mason and Mortimer are hauled off. It takes about 2 minutes before one of the two men that escorted them down comes up. Very quietly, they didn't make a scene this time. No music stopped. Most people didn't even realize it happened. And Maxwell Cantor closes the thing, boops in the code, relocks the door, puts the rug down.
Is music still playing?
Yeah, she's still singing.
Is it pretty loud?
Yes.
Great. Big Business would like to go over to the weapons locker.
Okay, to the security guy's leaning there, and he sees you kind of walking his way, and he stands upright and kind of gets on post, seeing you come over. He does not speak first.
Big Business says,
I've spent my caps here. I'd like to leave.
Well, we weren't planned to stop until the morning. Are you sure you want to get out? It's night.
Big Business just looks down at himself.
I won't have any problems.
He kind of looks you up and down, and he says, all right, man. He says, weapons ticket?
I give it to him, and I'd like to watch as he puts the door code in.
Okay, make a survival perception.
Okay. Oh, boy. I'd like to use an action point, if that's okay.
Okay, we are down to 1 action point.
I'm counting 3 because we were full up and then Mason just used 1.
Nope, you were not.
I used
full
2.
up. You were down to 3. Mason used 2.
1. I used 1 in nearly the beginning of the session.
Yep, and then it went to 3, and then he just used another. Yep. So
I thought because of some successes that we banked some back, but I guess not.
Rip.
Nope, he got
so-
he got the extreme success instead of banking the AP basically on that 4-3 roll or
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so we only have 1 left.
You have right now. You still have 1, so you add 2. You can use 1. It will take it down to 1.
Okay, I'll do it.
I mean, this seems like it's worth it.
Yeah. So this is survival perception?
Mhm.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Custom roll.
Oh my
Jesus Christ.
God.
Oh no.
Are you
I
kidding?
love this game.
Are you
Double
freaking kidding
20s.
me?
Bro, this
I'm
was
not
D&D.
even-
You'd be fired.
I'm not
You'd be a
I'm not-
monster.
Yeah, honestly.
Do you
I'm not
lo-
even gonna bother.
like
no.
okay, again, sometimes complications can affect more than one person. You got 2. Sister Delilah.
Oh no.
They go downstairs.
Yep.
One guy comes back up. Door gets closed. Your friends, it's like they weren't even here. You see
Mhm.
Big Business's silhouette in the kind of dark, dim light of the casino walk across towards the weapons. What do you do?
I am just on alert. I probably watched what just happened, and I'm watching Big Business, and I'm sitting by the bar making it look like I'm watching the music, but I'm watching what Big Business is up to right now.
Big Business is absolutely trying to con the security guy into giving his weapon back and noting the door code.
Yes. I just keep an eye on it right now, and I don't. I'm too far away, I think, to like also like look or anything. So
Yeah.
I just kind of keep an eye
Well,
on the area.
When you hit the bar, guess who's sitting there but the two children of Adam? And they see really
boy.
you for the first time wearing your patch, very clearly a child of Adam. And they do that thing dudes do at the bar where they sit on either side of you.
Oh boy.
Uh-huh. Yep. It's the worst.
Sister Delilah knows what's up.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep. They kind of come over, and these two guys, one's very young, one's clearly the like adult in charge. This kid's probably an acolyte of some kind, like on a training mission. He's like, yeah. And he sits down and he says, "What a delight to see one of our sisters here with us tonight."
Yes, it has been so far an absolutely glowing experience, and I'm just so happy to be here.
He says, "I'm Brother Elroy."
Oh, Sister Delilah.
Oh, Sister Delilah, what a beautiful name, like the flower.
Yes.
And he says, "Except when it's under radiation."
Exactly.
He kind of laughs too, and the kid cues up that he should be laughing as well, and he kind of like he doesn't know what y'all are laughing at. And he says, "So, have you come to the Mirage before? Do you usually travel with such strange company?"
First time. I came across some traveling companions on my own pilgrimage from Diamond City, actually.
He goes, he says, "Sorry to hear about your companions being, well, cheaters."
Well, they were a little I'm not surprised. They are that type, you know. So
Look, between you and I, you can't trust a man that leaves Fusion Susan standing at the bar alone. Sounds to me like your tricorn hat wearing friend probably needs a good chance to volunteer.
Yes. I'm praying for them nonetheless. As a matter of fact, I have been in deep prayer for my friends to see the light. And to see
has
the glow.
Adam answered your prayers?
Not quite yet, but I sense that it will be soon.
Yes, well, do not count yourself short yet, sister. Your friend, what was his name?
Mortimer.
I imagine he will find the light, this Mortimer, very, very soon.
I think so too. And
Are you going to make the pilgrimage to the glowing sea?
That is the plan.
Well, you're in
Yes.
luck. They should be dropping us pretty close to the perimeter. You're welcome to travel with us if you'd like. It's much better company, I think, than your current friends.
What? When does the travels begin for this?
He kind of looks at 2 days' time.
2 days time.
In about 48 hours, we'll be near. And he gives you a location, which, let me take us back to the map. So somebody had heard that you were headed south. I think Fusion Susan told Mortimer that. And you know that, remember, you picked it up here. Which means it has started looping this direction, like basically westwardly, and it's gonna, because it's massive, so it needs space. It's clearly gonna it's cutting south. So to drop you somewhere near the perimeter of the glowing sea, it's gonna be along this path. 2 days journey on this thing could take you pretty far south. So they must be dropping you to the west of this river at some point southwardly towards the glowing sea, which, if they have to pick up new recruits, makes sense. And he says it would be much easier travel. It sure is nice to have a set of wheels, and he kind of pats the bar top as if he's patting the outside of the Mirage like a car.
Yes, I would agree. That would be lovely to join you all on the pilgrimage.
He says, "Well, wonderful. We'll count you in. We promise to take good care of you."
Great. So I assume you're just staying here for the next couple of days?
Of course. Where else would we go? Plus, we've got to ride it. We like to ride out our 72-hour stay, don't we? And the kid's like, "Oh, yeah."
Yes. Just curious, how many others are going out on this
Oh, that's a
expedition?
good question. We'll probably be met by a few of our elders so that they can escort us as well. They'll want to take in the new recruits.
I see. And how many here at the Mirage?
That seems like a question for Maxwell Cantor. He's been doing a wonderful job recruiting new people ready to give their lives to Adam's Glow.
Lovely. That is
We're just here to make sure he delivers. He says, Maxwell, a round of drinks for 3 children of Adam. And Maxwell says, oh, of course, it's on the house. And he begins kind of stirring up a new drink as there is a commotion that comes from the back corner.
oh dear.
Big business. You have a really tall view of him as he begins to type in the code. He boops in 4 numbers. You note the numbers. He notes you note the numbers.
Uh-oh.
And he turns to you as the door pops open. It kind of lets out like to let people know it's the weapons locker is open. And he says, let me get your gun for you.
I didn't have a gun.
I point at the super sludge on the wall.
Oh, right. He reads a tag.
Well, I guess this counts too.
I point at the junk shed.
Yeah. He is a big enough guy that he struggles with both of them a little bit, but he can carry them.
As he goes in, Big Business will look back. You did preempt this by saying there's a commotion. Is that true?
I did. There will be a commotion, depending on...
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably about to cause one. Because Big Business is going to look back, assuming the music's still going. He's going to try to knock out this guy as the weapons locker's open and as he goes to get the weapons.
Yeah. He goes in, and as you reach to knock him out, the door closes behind him. And he pulls it closed, and he turns and looks at you in this moment of complication, and he says, I knew you were going to try something sneaky. And he hits a big red button on the wall. Delilah, the commotion that you hear is the gate closing very quickly and the sound of Big Business fists hitting it as he reaches for this guy, and then an alarm goes off. Bow, bow, bow. All the lights on the stage dim. All the main lights in the room come up, spilling this place in like fluorescent, disgusting Vault-Tec yellow light. And Maxwell Cantor turns, as do the 2 men at the bar, to look at your friend Big Business, standing there. And, that is what happens. All eyes are on you, Big Business, standing by the weapons locker.
Okay. Oh, God.
I know. I'm like, depending on what Big Business does, I think Sister Delilah will follow to do something, but
okay. Can I get a read on how many there are the like guests of this place? How many workers are there?
So security looks very particular. They all wear kind of nice suits with Vault-Tec, their Vault-Tec uniform underneath.
Right.
There are 6 of them. That includes the guy in the cage.
Okay. And does that include also the 2 children of Adam that are at the bar? No. Okay.
Plus the 2 children of Adam. Now, you don't see them pull weapons yet. They, you would think, would be asked to undergo the same requirement.
Oh, God.
But downstairs, Mortimer, you're left for just a second as the door closes. You got a big ass shot before it closed of Mason and this guy. There's this old man, and he's kind of sitting there next to his bike, and he's kind of panting. You can tell he's just finished writing. And there's this like piece of there's a bar on the wall, like an LED bar, and you can see it's bright green right now. But as he's like resting and panting, it like boops down. It's like a battery notation of how much he's filled, and obviously he can't let it get to the end. And so he's kind of like, and he kind of looks at you. He goes, I can't wait for them to show up so I can just say yes and get off this damn place.
Is it like is it one bar for the whole cell, or is it like a bar per person?
For his
situation?
cell, like for that machine. So like you both share a writing machine. And he says, I'm really glad to have a roommate again. Since they took that guy, I've been having to do it all by myself. And you look over to an empty cot. There's like one of them is a bunk bed, one of them is a single one. And on the lower deck of the bunk bed, you can see that there is there's a vault suit. There's like somebody left their clothes behind and their Vault-Tec shoes and yeah.
Is it an 88 suit?
Nope.
I imagine it's a number that I've seen before.
You walk over. Do you go pick it up?
I'll pick it up.
You go and pick it up, and when you hold it up, it has, I think it's Vault 32, which is Kalita's husband. That's the vault she is from. Oh, it is a male vault suit.
I'm gonna fold it up and put it in my coat.
Oh, shit. He kind of looks at you weird, like, I guess, if you want it. They're gonna make you take it off, though, when you pledge. You gotta wear one of those robes. You gotta leave it behind.
Yeah, I'm not pledging. And until I hear an alarm, my
Not yet.
goal is going to be working out how to fashion, like, what in this room can be used to fashion a lockpick.
Yeah, you start kind of looking around, and maybe you're digging for stuff. You're seeing if there's, like, splinters of stone or wood or anything that you can find. And this guy's kind of watching you almost in amusement because maybe he was there once. Like you, determined to break free of this place. Now he's been literally rode down by hours on this fucking bike that doesn't go anywhere in this horrible place that smells of human filth. And he just kind of laughs at you. He says, "What are you doing?"
Making a plan.
To, let me guess, escape and get out of here?
Oh yeah, I got in here on purpose.
Yeah, me too. It's called cheating. But, I didn't cheat. The guy at the end, who's the guy who was arrested early, he goes, "Hey, I didn't cheat either." He kind of says from way down the line of cells. And a couple people mimic that and say, "Yeah, I didn't cheat either, but I'm here." There's like muttering amongst everyone. You can go ahead and roll a survival endurance. That's an actual search check to see if you find anything. Mason,
Okay.
as the door closes, you putter up. This guy's like, "What the hell?" He does back away from you, but he pulls his like police stick, his like beating stick. Then he realizes like he doesn't know what he's gonna do with that against you. He's like, we don't have to fight, man. I'm just doing what I'm told. He kind of puts his hands up.
Okay. When he puts his hands up, I tell him,
Drop the baton.
He drops the baton. He kind of keeps his hands up. He goes, what? I was just gonna take you for a tune-up, man. And he points to the Mr. Handy station, like tune-up station.
There's about to be a startling takeover. And I think it would be apt for your survival if you were to find your way into a tightly locked locker and hide. Just wait. Or I can set you ablaze.
No. He goes, a takeover, a hostage. What are you talking about?
This place will soon no longer be under the guise and watch of the Sons of Atom.
But then we're all in danger. They'll kill us all.
No, we'll handle that.
You're a Mr. Barber bot. You're gonna handle that?
Oh, well, myself and the Son of Atom with me and the Minutemen that you happened to lock up. It was all intentional, I assure you. Also, the super mutant upstairs.
I don't think you understand. He took our power source and he points to the nuclear engine that powers an entire Vault-Tec vault sitting there, and you can see that the power source has been removed from it. He says, "Dude, without it, we're just sitting ducks. We have no power. We can't cook food. We can't clean our water. There's no lights.
We can figure something out.
He goes,
But what you're doing is wrong. So if you'd like an opportunity to repent and set things right, I suggest you find a tight space. Hide.
I'm a scientist. I don't believe in religion.
Perfect. So are you with them? Or are you with us?
He kind of weighs his options.
I poof a few times.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go over here, and he kind of walks towards the Mr. Handy station, which is a cylinder that they put you in. It grabs you, they boot you down, and then like it seals you in, right?
Sure.
For tune-ups and updates and all that kind of stuff. And he kind of goes over and he like presses the button and he gets inside the Mr. Handy containment thing, and it like and it's all clear. You can still see him, and from the other side he's like, okay.
No worries. I'll retrieve you the moment that things have been handled.
But the door. He points to the door. It's very clearly closed.
I wing the keys and I say,
2036.
No, it won't work. It's a different code.
Then perhaps you tell me the code, gentlemen.
No, I'm safe.
For me to leave.
You can just stay here with me.
Or I could cut the power to this room immediately and it would forever lock you in those doors. Take your pick.
I start fluttering on the buzzsaw.
Yeah, okay. The moment you start, he goes, okay. It's the same number backwards, man.
Gotta love the creativity
Of scientists, yeah, for a good 4-digit code. And he kind of tells that to you as you go over to the door, and right as you're getting ready to like dink, an alarm goes off. Mortimer, you start digging around. You're looking for anything that you can find. Inside of the vault suit, there's a single bobby pin. One. You successfully find it. You needed a 2, which you got, but you still have to lock pick it.
Let me check my lock picking. Oh. I can try.
I mean, you got 1 AP left.
I also have a gun, so I'm like,
That's
I'll try the
true.
lockpick, and if it doesn't work, like that's why I was so fine to be in this cell, because
Yeah.
if I can't lockpick it, I can always shoot it.
That's true. Yeah, you did hide the gun. You paid for that, so.
Yeah, I will try the lockpick. We'll see how it goes.
Okay,
One
a single
success?
success. You're kind of like wiggling it around and it doesn't work immediately. And finally, you hear it click, the door click as the gate kind of swings, but you break the bobby pin. That's the only, it's gone. It's done. You get the door open. And as it swings open, the alarm starts going off. And the guy in the cell's like, I told you, they're coming for you, man. It's like perfect timing. As you hear that, boo, 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 yellow lights in the ceiling begin kind of like spinning, caution spinning. And the door opens up. I imagine, Mortimer, you think it's going to be the guy. It's not. It's Mason. He comes out, and you can see Mortimer has managed to pick one of the gates open, and Mason has a set of keys in his claws.
I
Pass them off. I kind of whirl them around the tines of my scissor fingers.
Mortimer, a set of keys come clattering at you, which I imagine you begin to use to free people from their containment.
I think like I grab the keys and I toss them to the guy who was in my cell. Could you unlock all the cells? We're gonna be busy. And I pull out my gun.
He sees you pull out the gun, and he's kind of like, what the hell's going on? He looks at the keys and he tosses them to the floor. He says, No. I'm gonna be a child of Adam. I'm giving my life so that I can get out of here. No.
I put the gun away. I come in and pick up the damn keys and I start unlocking. I'm like,
Yeah, you begin kind of unlocking as it's still going bow, bow, bow upstairs. Security begins. A lot of people begin like, oh my god, the super mutant's going crazy. As people begin kind of backing up and making a lot of space away from the weapons locker. The security instead begins kind of coming in on you, big business, though they're beginning to realize, like, what are they supposed to do with just like police batons? Like, beating a guy down is one thing.
That's all they have.
None of these guys have weapons. It's a no weapons facility. I mean, they do it. They're just in the. They're locked in with this guy who has chosen to be locked in with the weapons. They probably will have weapons before it's over with. They just don't at the moment. And you hear Maxwell Kenter say, hey, big guy, What's the problem?
Big Business will look out towards Maxwell and say,
You are forcing people to keep this place running. Anyone who cheats, they are forced below to make the place run. The place is run by people running.
There's, as you say that, there's like a couple snickers from people, people who think that that's a ridiculous idea. And Maxwell says, I don't know what you're talking about, big guy. Is anybody here being forced to stay or run? And everybody's like, oh, no, not me. And he says, and all of those here who work at the Mirage call this place home, don't we? Everybody's like, oh, yeah.
Can I look around the crowd and see if there's anybody who looks like they are concerned or believe what Big Business is saying? Or does it, like, I'm trying to gauge from the crowd if it's mostly people like, yeah, the super mutants, Delulu.
Yeah, that the crowd is definitely like, this super mutant's Delulu.
Okay.
Because this is all a front, right? Like, nobody believes it till they are taken downstairs. There's no reason for people to believe that at all. Plus, Big Business just walked away with 500 caps from the blackjack table. Like, nobody's being forced to stay here, technically. And it's about this time, Sister Delilah, our final complication of the double roll complication. There is, as Maxwell Cantor, he kind of comes out from behind the bar, and he's slowly walking toward Big Business, trying to, like, keep this from escalating into a violent situation. He doesn't want people to die either. Okay? There's a reason there's no weapons here. This is not the Wild West. And as he's kind of like, nobody here is being forced to stay. If you'd like to get off, I'll have my friend here. And he gestures to the guy in the cage, come out and let you down on the elevator.
Only if you let all of us see what is below.
Oh, that's just our engine room. Is anybody here interested in seeing the engine room? These people are drinking and having a good time, and they're like, no. Like, they don't want a tour of the engine room. And as he's kind of quiet, keeps talking, that complication kicks in, and an old man comes like, ah! Out of the shadows with a knife from the bar. Okay, like cuts like oranges and lemons and shit for drinks. And he grabs Maxwell Cantor and he puts the knife to Maxwell Cantor's throat and he says, this is gonna end now, Maxwell. And he's gonna take Maxwell hostage.
Oh shit.
Things just escalated.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to try to play along and like, okay. but I am going to also look for I'm going to also see if I can find a knife behind the bar.
There is another knife behind the bar. Do you want to grab it? Just grab it, or do you want to do it with some level of stealth?
With some level of stealth, I would like to grab
this
it.
is like a lockpick check, so it is a agility stealth.
Okay.
Or agility
sneak.
You get the knife. It's just not stealthy. You like knock a drink over. The two children of Adam see you grab it and they go, "What are you doing?"
We have to help him.
They actually grab, one of them grabs this guy is way too familiar. Grabs your hand with the knife in it. He says, "No, watch this play out. Who gives a fuck?"
Oh my god, I'm ready to kill this guy. Okay.
Yeah, he's like the worst of the worst.
Okay.
Elroy, brother Elroy.
This is too real for me.
I know, right? And so, yeah, the alarm is still like boo, 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 boo. Maxwell goes, listen, old man Murray, there's no need for all of this. You could just put the knife down. We're not gonna hurt your new friend here. He's talking about Big Business, of course.
Business will say,
You won't hurt him, but you would hurt his daughter.
I never hurt his daughter. Never. The knife kind of tightens around his neck. He says, I swear, I never laid a hand on her. That wasn't me. That was the last son of Adam. Which is technically true. He did not lay a hand on that girl.
Okay. I have an idea.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna do something bold.
Uh-huh.
As this is all happening, Sister Delilah's gonna get up
Okay.
and try to go to the stage and get the singer.
Oh, you're gonna get Fusion Susan. Are you dropping the knife?
I'm gonna keep the knife.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna do what he's doing.
We're gonna take another hostage.
This is a hostage situation.
Okay,
now.
I do need another sneak.
Yeah, this is not gonna go well.
Okay.
Oh boy.
My God.
Okay, she didn't roll well either. She's like standing on stage. There's not a spotlight on anymore, but she's very much like pearl clutching, just like right? As like she's like watching back and forth as like this is happening, and Maxwell has been taken hostage, and she's trying to kind of make a scene of it. Nobody gives a fuck about Fusion Susan right now. You because she did not see you. Managed to walk up behind her. What are you attempting to do here?
I am going to try to grab her, and I'm gonna go into the mic and make a speech to all of these people.
Oh my word. Okay, you grab her
escalating.
and a scream. Big business. You hear a scream. Fusion Susan's like, and she like screams out, oh my god, I'm a hostage. Oh no. And the closer she gets to the mic, Sister Delilah like dragging her, the more her voice rings out. And it begins to draw all the attention away from Maxwell Cantor being held hostage to her. And now people are like looking at Maxwell, looking at Sister Delilah, and as you step up in her scream, there's feedback in the microphone. Sister Delilah, as you go to make your speech, as the camera was going to cut downstairs, Mortimer, you have managed to free all of the people. The alarm is still going off, but to your surprise, nobody has come running. No security has come running. Half of these people, I'd say 6, 7, 8 of them are not leaving their cells. They are fully traumatized, like refuse to leave their cells. The guy that was brought down here last night, maybe the guy yesterday, they're fully gung-ho, right? They're behind you. They collect as many people as they can, and he looks at you and goes, what do we do now?
Let's go back up. There's 2 men at the bar. They're last sons of Atom. They need to be subdued. So does Maxwell Cantor and possibly others that resist.
How are we going to do that?
They don't have weapons. Neither do you.
No, how
I
are
have
we
a
getting
gun.
upstairs? And you see that there is no keypad on this side of the enclosure. It's just a flat ceiling. Now, you did see him take somebody down by elevator earlier. You just haven't found where the elevator lets down here.
Okay, let's look for the elevator.
A few people in here flinch, like that stay behind, they flinch when they hear you say the word elevator, as if they know where it is. They just don't. We're gonna pretend that didn't happen.
Where's the elevator? We need to know. We're getting out of here.
The guy at the end, he says, you're really dead set. He says, all the way to the end. It's on the other side of that wall. It's fake. Good luck.
You don't believe this is gonna work?
He says, I believe only in the last son of Adam. It's like he says it, brainwashed a little bit to believe it.
Those pamphlets aren't even his words, and I kicked down the wall.
You go over and you kick the wall. It's hard metal. Boom! Kind of rings up you. And you're like, there's kind of a few snickers from the old guy at the end. Mason, it's definitely a metal like slide wall. You're gonna have to hack it in some way. You've got to find the access point.
Sure.
More than likely, control is all upstairs, right?
Yeah.
But there is probably a way to do it.
Can I try to manually get through that door? I'm imagining if it's a punch code system, then it's probably just it delivers a wire signature and causes the door to swing. Can I?
Yeah, you want to
just
try to
use
get to
that?
that one instead? Yeah, you kind of boost yourself up to the ceiling. I'm gonna need you to cut through. You got to cut through the ceiling or into the wiring or something. So why don't you just make like a repair or science check? I'll take either.
Got it. 2 successes.
Hey, 2 successes is plenty. Mason's buzzsaw cuts out like this perfect square panel that clatters to the ground. A few of the people that remained behind in their cells now are beginning to see that this might actually work. You can kind of hear them like they've stopped looking at the floor and now they're actually watching what you're all doing. And Mason, your little pincers go in there, you nip a thing, you do a thing, and it's kind of like overriding the system, like a hot wiring a car, and you see the zap zap of electricity, and the hatch pops open. Upstairs, there's too much of a distraction for anybody to notice that the floor behind the bar has popped open and opened up. Because Delilah's voice clears as the microphone feedback comes to a settle. What do you say?
All right, listen up, my fellow children of Adam. You have all been lied to. I am a worshiper of Adam. I believe in the power of Adam and his glow. But the last son of Adam is a false prophet. He has been corrupting and polluting our word, not in the way that we want it to be polluted. The waters. We want to see the glow of Adam, but the last son is in all of this for himself. Heed my words and let this message be spread. We must restore the true glow of Adam and take it back from the last son. I'm sorry. If you don't believe me, what this super mutant says is true. Down below, there is corruption, just like every other settlement in the wasteland. And it is all from the last son of Adam.
You can make a speech charisma check.
Meanwhile, these
Use
people
our
probably,
AP. Use it.
You have none. You have none.
Wait,
thankfully, this
didn't
is
we
very...
have one left when?
Oh, we had one left.
Oh, that's right.
And
I thought y'all
then
used it. You didn't.
And then when Mason just made his check, how many successes did he
He
need?
needed the 2. He needed the
Okay.
full 2. Yep. It was a very difficult roll.
Probably
Yeah, use our last one.
don't
Okay.
even give a shit, but I'm gonna
Last
roll.
one.
Hey!
Hey,
All right. That is not enough to convince the last son's followers, the 2 that are there. But, unknown to you, Sister Delilah, as your voice rings true, Mason, Mortimer, as you begin leading these people up this narrow flight of stairs into the centralized area of the bar. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. These people, the ones that Delilah's talking about, the truth of what Big Business said, begin literally emerging from the center of the bar. They smell bad. They look emaciated. They're bleeding. They're in the worst possible state, imagine, as you kind of lead them out. And people go, oh my God. Oh my God.
this is a sign from Adam himself.
Yeah, as you kind of
Don't you see
say it
it?
out loud to back you up. And of course, the woman in your grasp, Susan, says, this is all lies. Don't listen to her. But you do begin to convince some people. You got 2 successes. I will let you roll 2 damage dice, so the 6 sides with the face.
Yes.
So you can custom roll, do 2 of those, because you got 2 successes.
Emotional damage.
2 people begin to slow clap. Old Man Murray follows you, right? As the slow clap
Big
kind of
Business
grows.
does as well.
Big Business. So there are 2 people that you have convinced. In fact, one of them, I like making things more complicated. 2 people actually go, yeah, follow Sister Delilah. You have your own new followers now for your doctrination against the last son. We'll see if your cult begins to grow. And Susan says, this is such bullshit. She says, I don't even know who you are. You're a nobody. He's never going to love you like he's going to love me.
Listen, lady, I've been there. And it just, sometimes the love you think is really there is just manipulation.
I'm a psychologist, damn it. I know everything there is to know about manipulation. And she's kind of beginning to kind of struggle with the knife to her throat. These people begin coming out. A lot of folks seem very shocked. Old Man Murray has let Maxwell Cantor go at this point, and Maxwell Cantor realizes that the jig is up. That people are starting. He says, everybody. As you can see, we have a whole bunch of new guests arriving and joining us. So we should start our festivities anew. Free drinks for everybody on the house. He's trying to cover his tracks.
Hey, Dot. What happens when the prisoners stop walking on their treadmills and biking on their bikes?
It's really glad you said that. There is technically a build-up battery, so right now we are slowly draining power.
Yeah, I imagine like as I like put my first hand on the ladder, I look at like in the nearest cell, the bar, and it's like dink.
Yeah, it
Like
goes.
we are on a clock.
Now some people did stay behind, which means they'll continue in their trauma, working out and riding and powering the bikes, but it's not the full gamut of 12 people. It'll be like 4 or 5 of them.
What are the Sons of Adam doing?
Do you look for them?
I'm looking.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I'm looking straight in on those.
You begin looking around trying to find them. They are quickly on their way towards the elevator door. They're headed actually towards big business. They're gonna get the fuck off this ride.
No, they won't.
That's what I wanted to hear.
I move myself in front of the elevator door.
They kind of try to play it off, like lean on a wall, like that's not what they were trying to do.
Big Business says,
I don't know where we are right now, but you two look healthy. Maybe you could help us get back towards civilization.
I point at where all the emaciated, underfed people are coming out of.
We aren't cheaters, he says. Very, very straightforward.
Well, you're not leaving.
That's actually not for you to decide, Sir Super Mutant. We here on the Mirage are allowed to come and go as long as we don't stay longer than 72 hours. See, that's what the rules say right there. And you can see the rules like painted on the wall, So we technically we can go. He says nervously back to Maxwell Cantor looking for affirmation.
I'll just stay put where I'm at, and
they look back to Maxwell. Maxwell's now beginning to realize that we're kind of at a standoff here. He says, "Why doesn't everybody just calm down, take a seat, let's get some drinks flowing?" And he looks over at Old Man Murray, who still has the knife in his hand and that crazed look in his eye.
You gave a child to that monster.
Nope, I did not. That monster took a child. Yes.
And now you do his bidding.
I do what I have to do to keep the people of the Mirage alive. As we have
Which
always
people?
done, long before you or the storm or the last son of Adam. I have kept these people safe, in the vault, outside of the vault, always. And you can see that the people of the Mirage agree with him. Like, there is confirmation that that is what he has always done. He says, it was our idea, it was my idea to build this thing and to leave those raiders in rubble. We did not die at a gun then, and we will not die at the end of a gun now.
The last son will die.
And when he does, maybe we'll have to repent for whatever it is that we've done here. But I have only done what is necessary to keep these people alive. To keep a safe place where anyone can come and rest and take a break from the reality of this horrid wasteland.
And then be accused of falsely cheating.
That is
And
hearsay.
below to power this place.
We did what was necessary. He kind of looks, and he looks over at the two guys at the door, and since the jig is up, he decides to rat them out too. And he says, do you think every time they show up that it's because they want to gamble? We have recruitment numbers to meet, and every time we don't, he takes one of ours. Recruitment numbers were down. It seems that the people of the wasteland aren't born natural cheaters. We had to do something to begin changing the odds in our favor. The two guys at the door look really guilty. It's very clear, especially the older guy, that older child of Adam, that he knew exactly what he's here for. He was here to, much like a mobster, gangster on the block, to be like, okay, Maxwell, pay up, or your safety is out the door. And he pays through literal people. And their numbers were down, so Maxwell clearly decided to fake in the cheating to up the numbers. It doesn't make it any better, but Maxwell is like dead set on it. You can tell from the sweetness and snake oil salesman in his voice is long gone now. He is passionate about the idea that his job is to protect the people of the Mirage, not the people of the Wasteland. And he has done that.
Trying to keep your people safe, this is not the way to do it.
Do you have a better idea? We
Yes.
don't have a power source. All of our Brahmin are dying in the cold or at the claws of frost pharaohs. He says, what do you suggest that we do? Unless, of course, you happen to have a power cell in your pocket.
We came across something not quite like that, but there are several places to keep your people safe.
He says, my people will not leave the walls of this vault, just like we didn't leave the walls of the vault back then. This is our home. We're not abandoning it.
Even if it means you die here. Not that we would kill you.
Fine.
but-
All of you can get off board. And you see he walks over to the wall. And on the handle that pulls the elevator, there's like a red button on the end of the lever. And he presses it. And you feel the whole machine, the whole building just like come to this rocking stop. This big halt. He pulls the lever and you can hear the elevator start to come up. And he says, anybody that wants to leave can leave now. He says, but if y'all are going to stop this operation and we're going to be put in danger, we're leaving the Commonwealth. I can be off the map in 2 days.
With what power?
With what's left of our Brahmin. We'll get past this storm, somewhere warm. We'll get more. And he's clearly talking to himself, but also to the people of the Mirage to let them know that he's trying to cook up a new plan.
You can leave the Commonwealth if you want, but you're not fit to lead this place. Hand it to someone else.
The people in here don't want anybody else. Maxwell is their leader. He said, I was and have always been the overseer of these people, and I will continue to be. Anyone here have an issue with my leadership?
Doc, can we just have a moment above board for the players here? I feel like there's an opportunity here for redirect in a place that's not going to potentially deal with the last son of Adam. I don't think the nunnery is the right place. The Minutemen might be a great place because they will also need a means of entertaining themselves. That's still a thing. They don't want to lose their Brahmin, but we could also send them to Good Neighbor because...
You mean just the people? The building won't make it to Good Neighbor. They literally can't come inland. This is why their path is out here. It's too big. The physical building on wheels is too big. They loop this area. They come down south next to the glowing sea. This is probably where they're going to drop you off. And then they cook back up this way. On their pass back around this time, when they made their turnaround here, is when y'all saw them and caught them. And then they do it all over again. They kind of make this loop.
Why can't they go inland?
It's too big.
Okay, so
Literally,
it's just
they can't get the building across the bridge.
Okay.
Right? Because it's you have to cross a river. And the only way is a bridge. Now, this bridge is potentially wide enough, but is it structural enough to hold a 5-story building? The weight of a 5-story building. So that's, they loop, this is why it's called the Mirage, because it's hard to find, because they loop the most barren outskirts of the Commonwealth. Down and back around and down and back around. They're just constantly looping. But more importantly, these people are not leaving this vault. They have no want to. This is their home. Basically, y'all
Sure.
started a coup. You're trying to take over their home, but they're not leaving.
Sure. And it's not so much me wanting them to leave their home as much as maybe they should stop trying to run the loop and find a place where they can stay inside that also affords them protection while people still pass through. And the Minutemen might be a good call. And yeah, the bridge might not be super stable, but if we can drop weight, I mean, they had to build this thing up. They didn't hit a button and just flip on its side, right? They had to
they
build
built
this thing.
Yeah, they built it. I mean, they're engineers and scientists, so.
So there has to be a means. We have access to a railway, to railroads, and I know that it was destroyed, or at least a part of it was destroyed, but that doesn't mean it's not fixable. They're scientists.
I mean, yeah, they could if you had a good reason to convince them, but they have no reason to. They have no want to fix y'all's railroad problem.
You're right, but they have a want to stay alive. They also have a want to not lose their Brahmin. And if it still means that they can operate inside of their facility without having to skirt around to dodge, the Minutemen might be willing to provide protection if it means that the Minutemen also have access to slot machines. I mean, they still have to go up against the house, right?
Technically, the Minutemen have access to slot machines now. They just have to catch the Mirage. They just don't like to. The kind of gambling, drinking is a little against the Minutemen way, right? They just don't. They don't opt into that kind of entertainment. That's why y'all dropped off actual musicians with them.
Okay, so then, does anybody else have any ideas? I mean, we still have access to the railway, but I'm definitely open.
I mean, you could just let them leave. They could just head out of the Commonwealth.
My view on it is like if our goal is to stop them from taking advantage of people, we've done that and just need to get these people out of here now. What they do on their own is kind of up to them. But I mean, I guess the only other point that big business would try to make is that he would say,
We are stopping you from how you are powering this place, and we will let anyone leave. But will the last son of Adam like that this has happened here? Will he not mete out his vengeance? Is that a saying? I heard someone say
Maxwell Cantor clearly is like not a larger part of the last son of Adam's plan. Like he's just another cog, just like Yarrow was, right? So the children of Adam, though, the guy Elroy here, he says the last son of Adam only uses people for his larger plot for Adam. He says if they leave, they are no longer part of our story, and they will perish like everyone else on the day of division.
Then let them.
Maxwell says, actually, since we are starting fresh, they're the first two to go. And he kind of points at the door, and the security guys are like, for real? Maxwell says, yes. And they forcefully shove these two guys on, which is where they were going anyways. Elevator down, drop some.
Well, big business is standing in front of the elevator, and he'll look at Delilah and the rest of the crew, and there's this look of like, if these guys are going to be, we might be facing these guys on a battlefield, 5 or 6 sessions from now.
Kill them now.
I don't know if it's that necessarily that far, or if we can do anything. So unless anyone else has any ideas, big business will kind of step out of the way.
What if we try to, and this might take some time. It might take a day or two, depending on if they have it together, but finding an alternate power source or establishing and building an alternate power source. It's not difficult to rig a gear system and
no, they have everything that they need, but the actual power cell.
But the power cell.
They just need a power cell. So this is a point where I can say this. Everybody ought to check inventory and the group inventory.
I have been wondering, does a mini nuke work?
Technically, no. Technically, no. But how about this? If somebody spends a luck point, I'll let you declare that was not a mini nuke you received, but a fusion power cell that perfectly fits into their machine. But you don't get to keep the nuke.
I'm just wondering though, at a certain point, what does it matter to us what their status is? They're already saying that they have a plan to find somewhere and settle down and leave the Commonwealth. So why not just let them leave? Why do we have to now worry
Well,
about how they're
what they
powering
said
their
is they would
building?
head west and use what was left of the Brahmin power they have, which is very slow, to basically just head west and leave the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Which
Why
is
not just let them do that?
you're-
But I'm
you're-
curious, Bub, what you're like. If
I think
we
it's a matter of resources, right? Like we don't necessarily lose access to caps because they still have a cap generator in their casino, but it's having access to multiple actual scientists.
I don't
The
know if they're
intellect.
gonna cooperate with
I
us,
was
though.
gonna say, would we have access to them?
I
I
mean,
don't.
If we save them, I think they would feel a bit more inclined to provide us with something. But we'd have to.
Yeah.
Well, it would come at a great sacrifice.
True. They're kind of. It seems like they're all in the mood that they don't even want to be saved, though. You know.
well,
You-
they don't believe they. Well, that's
I don't
not
think they
necessarily
see.
true.
I don't think they see an option. They don't think being saved is an option because that's the thing about the last son of Adam. Like he is the actuating oppressive force because they took their own savior. And if we provide them with an alternate, then they might be more inclined to see reason.
So basically, it's much like the other communities you've gone to. If you solve their problem is that he stole their power source when they let him on board in the kindness of their hearts, like they did to anybody else, right? Not knowing what they were getting into. They ended up in a manipulative plot where he said, I'm taking this, figure out a way to power your shit, and get me recruits. Or else. If you solve their power problem, they can go back to moving at a much faster pace, be a lot safer from the last son of Adam, and they don't have to let him or his people on board anymore, right? They can then make their rules again. The problem is that he stole their power source. Like when you have so at the core, if you can solve that, they, as Bubba's saying, they could be your friends and your allies, right? It is a lot of scientific minds that could be repurposed for a better cause.
Then I would be willing to make that deal. Then the mini nuke.
Yeah,
as a power
I'd say.
cell.
Who wants to spend
give
the
them
luck
the
point?
nuke to Paracel.
How do we get them back? It's not just a refresh every episode, right?
Your luck points do not. Your luck points
Every
refresh
level up.
usually at a level up.
Oh, that would leave me after spending. I would be stuck with one left.
I can
So-
spend one. I haven't spent any today.
So
I spent 2 today.
Yeah, you did. So
I
Mortimer will say,
Two, I think. Yeah.
yeah, because you had that. So we'll say, yeah, instead of a mini nuke, he says that.
Okay.
Maxwell Cantor says, unless you happen to have a spare power source just lying around. And Mortimer, in fact, you do. When y'all went down into those sewers on the corrupt episode 8 I'm still dealing with, and
Oh,
you
no.
were given a nuke, it really wasn't a nuke. It's just as radioactive, but it is a nuclear power cell, a massive one. And it doesn't, these are what power like power suits and massive radioactive energy cells. This isn't like what goes in Mason. These are very hard to find. They're exceptionally rare. They don't even make them anymore. It's only recycling them. They're finding and recycling. And so Maxwell says, unless you have a better option, I'd like to kick them off. And anybody else that would like to leave is welcome to leave. And a few people are like, right here. I'm going. A couple people just opt out. Old Man Murray finally drops the knife and comes and stands over kind of on y'all's side of the room, right? To say that he's on team. This team. Maxwell says, no, any takers? And it's green glowing in your bag, Mortimer.
I will pull out and say, I'd like to go around the cells downstairs again and give people a second chance with the full understanding to leave.
He says, you already know the code, so who am I to stop you?
Hand it over.
He takes it and he looks at it and he says, I can't believe you just have this. And he says, is this what you all do? Just go around and solve everybody's problems?
Seems to be what we're doing these days.
It's not what I signed up for, but yes.
He says, well, I guess maybe I should go with you downstairs. I'm sure I have more than my fair share of apologies. And he looks to these people now, very clearly not in cells, not dehumanized. They're standing in front of him. And there's a little bit of humanity. He's not completely heartless. And he says, so I'll start with all of you. I'm very, very sorry. He says, you're welcome to stay if you'd like for free and eat a warm meal. I think maybe a detour is in order. You hear the elevator come back up after dropping off the two children of Adam. In Big Business, you see in the camera that's under the belly of the beast that he kind of pushes the young guy a little bit like this is all his fault, like he's trying to find somebody to blame, and they set off in the snow southwardly ahead of the building. The Mirage clearly headed for the glowing sea to maybe report what happened. Who knows?
Can we not wait?
I mean, they left. They sent
but
them out.
I'm standing in front of the elevator. If they're gonna go, especially if they're gonna go report
Maxwell
stuff,
Cantor said they are to exit, so they're planning to send these guys away. Are you gonna kill them? They're not gonna kill them.
Yeah. I don't know. And unless we just have them join our party now as hostages or something like that, or keep them locked in here.
Like we could just kill them, but I'm also like, it feels bad form considering the circumstances.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think we just let them.
Part of me wants to, but I'm like, maybe we should let him go and let him tell of what happened today, you know?
Yeah. I know where they're headed, so...
That's true. And they're on foot now.
Mm-hmm.
Maxwell Cantor does go down with you, and he kind of inserts the power cell, and you feel like the whole machine, like, brrr, the batteries don't matter anymore. People witness this happening, which makes your pitch to them, Mortimer, much easier. Maxwell all but grovels to them, begging for forgiveness, offering them free food and drink and a comfortable bed to lay in, a hot bath, because now you have a hot water heater too with all of this power. And Maxwell, as he comes back upstairs, turns to all of you and he says, I don't think it's a good idea for us to actually make our next delivery, considering the fact that the last son is expecting me to drop off those people. He says, I happen to know of another location, a place where just about anyone is welcome. He says, I'll loop us around back north and drop you off at Big Top.
Excuse me, Mr. Cantor. You have a, how should I say this? I have locked a pantsless scientist into the Mr. Handy repair station.
Oh, right. He kind of gestures for one of the security guards to go handle that situation. They go to let him out. He's probably passed out from, like, lack of oxygen. I imagine it's like an airtight... So fires and stuff don't start when they're working on Mr. Handy units. You know, you can't have any oxygen filtered in. So this guy's like passed out. It's all fogged up. They go down and rescue him just in time as he's like kind of comes back to life, you know. And since it is time kind of to wrap, you feel the Mirage kind of hang a hard right, and he says, honestly, now that we have our power cell back, we could eat the Brahmin. A few people are like, oh, steak for dinner. He's like, or maybe I have a better idea. And as he begins heading towards Big Top, which he'll make in 24 hours time, having now a big kind of problem on his hands, which is, what are we going to do when the last son of Adam does expect retribution for this? But tonight, Sister Delilah, you're approached by two people. A woman and a man. They're married. And they say, we were really inspired by what you said, and we want to follow you. My husband and I, we've been children of Adam for many, many years, but we don't necessarily believe in his doctrines. And the things that you said, it inspired us to maybe go back and rethink how we can fight what he's doing. The false prophet, as you called him.
Yes. Well, I suppose if you want, I will teach you what I know. If you want to follow us.
Yes, we'd love to follow you.
I look to the rest of the group. Well, it looks like we have two more people joining us.
And they sit for the night with you, along with Old Man Murray, who is going to get off where y'all get off, because he doesn't know where his daughter is. You do. He's with you until he's delivered to his daughter. And the Mirage is a lot quieter tonight. Fusion Susan opts to get off. After about an hour, she comes back with her bags packed in a hurry. Her suitcase is full. She's still wearing a sequin dress and heels and a feather boa and maybe a fur shawl of some kind at this point. She says, I went off. I'm going to go to him myself and tell him exactly what's happened here. I'm going to sit at his right hand, and when the day of division comes, you're going to know. You're going to know that I am his Eve. You're going to regret this. All of you is going to regret this. And she kind of clatters out with her heels.
As she's leaving, I say, you really had me fooled. I thought you gave a damn about Muse.
I don't care about that kid. I only care about my Muse, and he's in the glowing sea waiting on me with his arms wide open, and I'm gonna go for that embrace. So all of you can just starve to death for all of I care. And she's still bitching as the elevator doors close and it lowers her down, and for the first time, maybe the Mirage is kind of quiet. No gambling tonight, though if you want to try the slots, I guess you can.
I think it would be funny to see Big Business just ride out
Yeah.
Damn it! And tear one off.
Let's go gambling.
And,
Dang it.
yeah.
Anything from Blackjack?
Blackjack actually comes over and thanks you all. He kind of lets you know that he wasn't really for the plan, and even though he was accusing people of cheating, he had actively worked to accuse less people of cheating, to slow the recruitment numbers under the pressure of Maxwell Cantor. And thanks you all for what you've done, because he explains that the people of the Mirage, at least most of them, after, of course, her grand exit, really like this life. They like what they do in bringing this kind of joy to people, and it wasn't until the last sun showed up that that was corrupted for the worst. And it was with your help that now they have an option to at least try to fight him, to not give in to him, because they have their power back. And Maxwell Cantor closes the night out and he says, because of these friends, we no longer have to do the dirty work of the last son of Adam. We are literally being powered by radioactive energy as we speak. A true testament to the fact that, as Sister Delilah here has pointed out, you don't need a false prophet to believe in Adam's glow. Yes? Wonderful. Tonight we will eat well. We have slaughtered a Brahmin, steaks around for everyone, Bloody Marys to go with it. And how about some music? And he looks to the stage and the spotlight hits the Mr. Handy. The all one-man band, Mr. Handy. And he says, we don't have a singer, but we have a wonderful musician. And you see as the Mr. Handy, like his stalks kind of go from like one color to another, like he lights up a little bit. Like this is his moment. He's never had his moment because he's always been secondhand to Fusion Susan. And he starts playing jazz, original jazz music, and he's great at it because he's a fucking machine. And he plays some of the best jazz you've never heard. On this evening, as all of you will eat well and at least sleep well. And next week, I believe we'll be back next week. Next week we'll be back. It's the 22nd. We're all taking off because that's when I'm out of town. So yeah, we'll be back next week with Who's Available to find out what this Big Top's all about. Coolio. All right, friends. Anything anybody's got to talk about? Anything y'all want to shout out, let people know about, got going on? Tracy, you always have a show going on.
I do, yes. I'm always busy at twitch.tv/magicrpg, or I'm running games.
I guess the cool stuff happening to you can't talk about yet, Zach.
Yes, I have cool stuff happening that I can't talk about yet. I almost talked about it yet in the impending moments as the green room was opening. But for now, people will find me on my Twitch channel as well, twitch.tv/Zach Clay, where I highlight the roleplay communities in World of Warcraft and Minecraft.
Cool. Love that. Bev, anything coming to roll for it we want to let people know about?
We got a show coming. We haven't announced the what it is and what the date is yet, but it's planned. It's we now have a date that it's going to happen.
All right, cool.
We need to announce it. So we're getting closer. We're almost there.
Bub, you've moved. Are you planning new things? I think you said you
I'm
were.
planning all kinds of things. The problem is, I think I, much like the rest of the world, is just trying to survive right now. So
God damn, ain't that the truth?
there's going to be a lot of cool things coming. Just bear with us. Just bear with us, guys. It's a lot right now.
And right now, if you need a little joy in your life, we have released all the character mood boards for the upcoming VTM show, The Sense of Providence. Those are over on Patreon and in our Discord now for free. Next up, we're going to be revealing the map of Boston. That's going to go to Patreon first. It also includes your Camarillo. Your Camarilla liaisons, your council will be listed in that as well. So if you want to know where Mathis's brain's at and who is what, the first to know is our Patreon, and then we will release to the general public on Discord. I will say right now, I think this is important for those of you that rely a lot on social media. Pod by Night is taking kind of a step back because of the current state of the world and social media. We're trying to decide what the best platforms are because we tend to use a lot of original art by artists. We like to respect that. And one of the things that I am not comfortable with is releasing that art on platforms in which Meta is obtaining rights to it. So we are kind of stalled on social media right now. We're looking at maybe moving to something like Blue Sky, but that means the best place to find us is here on Twitch, over on YouTube, if you're watching this video after, or in our Discord. We'll be making announcements for live shows, and then we'll be making announcements over in the Discord. So if you haven't joined us, there's not really a reason not to, because it's so much easier to hang out with cooler people than those on social media. That's for doggone sure. All right, crew, that's what I have. That's all I have. We're going to go record an after show. Thank you again, and we will see you all next week for another episode of Fallout Winter of Adam.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.